don't see it live on here though. Let me see. Hold on.
Oh, it's live for me now.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Welcome. We are here. We are on time. Small tidbit. First of all, don't trust California people to give East Coast people the proper time to start stuff because and double check what we say to you. Because I swear I told Manny wait, what did I tell you? One.
You said 1:00 your time, 11:00 Pacific. And I was like, cool. And I've locked in 1:00. But then you were like 11:00 Pacific. And I was like, oh, that's actually 2:00.
I don't know. I can't even blame if I was high. I don't know what was going on, but always look at the Pacific Standard Time number. And then even then, if you're saying I put Eastern Standard Time 11, I don't know. You're here. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, does that mean he can't do the show? Like, what is going on?
No, I wouldn't leave you hanging. I mean, if I had something else, then we might have had a problem.
I see. Now this is a learning lesson. This is why we go through this process. This is still my beginning. Like, I think now I'm on a month. No, I'm just a couple days over a month. So, I'm still working out the kinks. I'm still trying to figure out, I want things to happen. So like right now, I probably shouldn't have said that because they're doing construction on the apartment upstairs. And so there's like loud noises. So if you guys hear noises, just go with it. It's a construction zone. They've been working in this apartment since last week. I'm just like, oh my God, stop.
I've done this. I've done podcasting or live streams for a long time, and same thing. It'd be the one time of the day that they need to be building something or outside drilling on the streets, and it's never as bad as you think. So don't worry too much about it. And especially now, people are more tolerant than before, I guess, because we know that. Someone said to me once, we're in the times when flexibility is baked in. Like we're all flexible now. We're all understanding. It's not so bad. It's fine.
Right. All good. We're here. So for those of you who are tuning in, excuse me. Sorry. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm really crazy right now in a second. Okay, so we have DJ MannyFaces back on the show. I'm super excited. I had to add the DJ. He doesn't add the DJ. I add the DJ. He is a perfectly capable DJ. So I have to let y'all know so you know what's what. Also, hip hop historian, podcaster, as he just said. Oh my God, hey, what's up, DJ Epic? Good morning. Oh my God, is this the first time you've come? Thank you. Manny, this is my DJ Epic. I mod for him. So.
What's up, Epic?
He just came off of a Tribe Called Quest set on Saturday that I unfortunately had to miss because I've been crazy preparing for this wedding. What's up, Abser1? I appreciate you for coming. Oh my gosh, and he said, thank you so much. So anyway,
can I from my account, can I host you or no? I'm not allowed.
You can host me. It's easier to do it from your phone.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt the flow, but
no, I mean the flow always gets interrupted here. Clearly, interrupted in Ebzer. All good. So I'm introducing you while you figure out how to host. So anyways, MannyFaces is a hip hop historian, very well respected in the community. I love him to death. This is the second time he's actually come on the show, on the stream. The first time he actually was my first DJ guest. Those are little facts about this stream. And what else? I hadn't figured out how to record streams yet. So he is the only show that I didn't get to save and upload to YouTube. So yeah, now I have him back. And yeah, I know. But this is our first official show because that first show was like really, really rough. So yeah, so I brought him on the show. So in a perfect world, I can bring Manny on whenever we decide to talk about hip hop stuff. This is my DMX appreciation tribute stream. Manny has a lot of dope insight. I'm gonna give what I know in my experience with meeting DMX. And but it's very morning show vibes. We're still gonna do our same little banter, talk about streaming. But yeah, we are gonna just show DMX love the best way we can. So yeah, thank you all for joining. Thank you for the subs. I appreciate you because mama needs them. And also to invite a friend. I am one more person away from 400. And in my mind, once I 400, I'm now in competition with DJ Epic. Like I'm up there now. Like I'm gonna be like a celebrity and stuff. It's almost as good as having a check mark next to your name. It's like 400. That's all I need. So yeah, here we go. How was your weekend, Manny?
You know what? It was good. I got to actually do nothing. I was away for a week before that I was in the words of Nas, I was making moves to Atlanta, a back and forth scrambler. So New Jersey to Atlanta road trip with some pit stops in DC, and so it was like over a week, which isn't enough time to recover. So a lot of that was happening the week before. So this weekend was pretty cool in that I caught up, cleared my plate, came back, caught up, and then was able to kind of relax. So I really didn't do much, which is abnormal for me. Normally I'm doing everything all the time.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hi, James. I see you. Hey, Breezy. Welcome. Thank you. So yeah, this weekend has been kind of crazy. Again, I've been dealing with this wedding that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So I'm the project manager for the wedding. So it's one of my closest friends, right? But I'm not in the wedding, and I'm happy I'm not in the wedding because she has friends that are older than me or been around longer. So they got all the maid of honor, the bridesmaid, that role. And I was just like, "Ooh, I'm so glad," because I really can just show up. This is before I realized Ramadan was happening during 420, because 420 I technically will still be in. So I'm going to Jamaica. I will still be in Jamaica on 420, so I was super happy. Like, yes, I don't have to be bothered with you hoes. Like, I'm just like, I'll be chilling. And then I checked the Ramadan dates, and I was like, what? I can't celebrate? Damn. Oh, speaking of which, today is the first day of Ramadan. I'm not cursing. I've given up weed. I've given up liquor. I don't really drink, so that's not a problem. I've given up cursing. I can't do the full fast.
That would be a problem.
Because everybody who knows me knows, like, I microdose every day. I'm not. So wait a minute. Here we go. I'm not cursing. That's the hardest thing. So if you guys see me cursing or hear me cursing, go ahead and just call me out. Drag me. Because I need to get used to, and so the first week is always the hardest. As far as the fast, so because of my pre-existing medical condition, I can't do a complete fast like how everybody else does. So I've stripped all the meat, so I'm vegetarian. Oh my gosh, yeah, all of that. So right now I'm all like, what am I going to eat today? So really, I got my muffin in front of me. I got some green tea, and it's just going to be a thing. So yeah, so I am streaming every day for 5 days. Up until, so I stream every morning, and then Thursday night I leave. And then, Friday I'll be in Jamaica, and then the wedding is next Sunday. And all of the drama that can happen, feuding with the bridesmaids, all of that stuff. So as project manager, I'm in charge of calming the bride down. Again, because she's like my close, it's like, so how me and you can talk, Manny, and I can just give it to you real, like, you fucking up on that day.
Right. I should play a sound. Look, check it. I got you. Hold on. All right. Every time you curse, I'm going to do that. I'm ready. Go ahead. Got you.
I'm over this. Okay. Anyway, that was my first offense. That was my
I was just saying, look, I respect your discipline. You're, trying to do the thing. So that takes just having the mindset and trying to do it. That's a win right there. So that's all right.
That's not good enough. This is my 4th year participating in Ramadan. So I am not Muslim. I participate in support. So I'm Christian. Everybody knows that about me. And so really quickly, I don't understand why there's so much like division between the two groups. And so I started doing Ramadan to support because I have Muslim friends and I want to be there for them and show like, we don't have to feud, and so I do this, and support. So pray on me, y'all. Pray on me.
I'm clearly not, but
anyway, so how I can talk to you.
Matter of fact, shouts to Rashid Mian, who's checking us out. One of my Newsbeat podcast team members, who's very happy that who is Muslim, by the way, and salute to you. And he's very happy that you have Baby Yoda there. So.
Oh, What do you see? I don't even see them typing or anything.
No, he's hitting me on the Slack, but I assume.
Okay.
We'll see.
Nice. What's up, Hawaiian Nomad? Oh my God, the DJ Epic crew is really all here. Most of you. So anyways, like just like how I could talk to you and we can have a very real conversation. You know, we have some really real conversations on the side. That's the thing with my girl. Like, so when she starts to tripping, I'm just like, girl, go ahead and take another edible. You know, I'm taking edibles up until it's time for me to fast. And then, so get me now while I'm calm. And so I'm able to calm her down. So it's been a lot of conversations. Like, so people are like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm on the phone right now. It's a spill on aisle 5, basically. So yeah, here we are.
That's valuable. And you know what? That's the maid of honors and all them, they're gonna be all like drunk and hanging out and enjoying the whole thing. They're not gonna always be focused on the important job of keeping her anti-Brazilla. So that's good that she got you.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm out. She's shipping, and I'm the last person to leave. So, and mind you, they're all on the East Coast. They're all in New York and New Jersey. So again, I'm dealing with crazy New Yorkers. Like,
right.
Y'all know y'all be on 10. Like, all this.
We ain't laid back like y'all. There's little laid out here. Yeah.
Oh my God. Jealousy, resentment. My baby daddy can't come. That situation came up. The baby daddy can't come because he owed back child support. Why did you pick a place to get married where my baby daddy can't come? I'm like, what?
Right. And there's not enough time for the tax refund to snatch it. So yeah, just right in the bad. Yeah.
What are we doing in 2021? What are we doing? This is too much. Like, this is too much. Anyways, that's the drama. So anyways, y'all, I'm here. I told you I've been preparing my house cats, like Ramadan is coming. So between leaving town, all of that, just give me grace, y'all. Like if I snap, give me grace. That's all I'm asking for. So there we are. Manny, so since the last time you were on the show, the stream, you started streaming on your own. What's up? How's that experience going?
Yeah, a little bit. It's funny because I had, as we talked about, I'd slept on Twitch a little bit, but as over the last couple of years, it's been more welcoming to people that do what we do, kind of get on the mic and talk, and more talk show, oriented. The whole category is a big thing now. It's not just gamer centric. So I was like, all right, let me gravitate over here. We started doing a live stream show of one of the programs that I helped co-produce called This Week in Social Justice. And so we're like, well, let's broadcast to the platform. Let's make sure we're on any visual platform where people can come across us. So I've done that. I started a different show of my own, sort of like you, just kind of a stream talk show kind of thing. I toyed with that for a minute, made sure that I could do some cute stuff. And then at the same time, though, I also, same thing in my mind, is I also started messing with Clubhouse a little bit because I hadn't been on that platform either.
Okay.
So now I'm spread a little too thin, building up both of those kind of from scratch, which is obviously, always a struggle.
Right.
But I enjoy it. I like it. And I'm just figuring out what's a good cadence for me and a good scheduling wise and get back to the Words I Manifest show. But this week at Social Justice, I'm streaming from my channel every week, as well as the Newsbeat show. So we're simulcasting, and we're seeing where that goes. Cause that's an important show that obviously touches on important topics. It's newsy. It's, social justice oriented. We have guests on. It's actually very well suited for a platform like this. So we're introducing it to that. So been toying with it, playing with it. I enjoy and building in the community here, finding people, not that I didn't know you, but seeing what you've been doing, following some of the people you're talking to, jumping on with some of the DJs and just being able to have some sets on in the background while you're doing some work. That's cool too. So I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy being here.
Right.
Yeah. So more coming, but I've got my toe in the water and the water's not bad.
Right. It's funny, and we talk about this from time to time. So for those of you who are in the DJ community, there's the respected DJs in the community who take a long time to come over to Twitch. Manny was one of them. It took a long time for him to get here, but what I can say is once he got here, because he has that background in podcasting already, he hit the ground running. So a lot of us, when we start our streams out, it's rough. We haven't figured out the OBS. We haven't figured out how to set up the designs, the sound effects, the graphics. When you go to his stream, it's flawless. It looks like a a CNN newsroom, a breaking special going on. It's very impressive. And to give you guys a little background, I'm like so like impressed with his setup. Like, so when he streamed at the beginning of the pandemic and we were on Facebook, you get to see a little more of his setup. And so I was like, take a picture of that. And then and so I purchased everything that he has. Well, not everything. I don't have the soundboard. I don't have the DJ stuff. But so we have these two. Maybe one day I should share a picture with you all of my setup, which is pretty impressive. Because when my friends come over, they're like, "Wow, your setup looks really good." I'm like, MannyFaces. So I have two large. It's like an engineering station here. So that's why I think I told you guys before. If you guys see me looking off to the left or looking off to the right, it's because my cam, the way it's set up. And so maybe I should show that picture at another time where you guys will understand, like, oh, that's why she looks like her eyes are shifty. But anyways, we have these two large, I'm dropping my sparkling water. We have two large 32-inch monitors set up. It looks like the NASA setup almost, like, and then all of the equipment, the cameras, the ring light is up here. It's like very impressive. The thing I'm lacking is space. It looks like you have a whole office. Like, see, you guys just see a little corner of what he has going. If he really just swung the camera around, you would see his whole like setup. And then also too.
Oh wait, oh no, it's not set up right. I got a different camera.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's tilted.
We weren't prepared. We didn't know we were going to talk about this. But he has a bigger space. This is my studio apartment. The only thing you guys don't see in my camera is my bed, which is off right here. But I only have this one room and this one corner to set this up. So I can't wait to move into a bigger space.
And that's how I was. You said in the beginning of the pandemic, I was the same thing. If you look at the older videos, I had, you could see my windows and plants, and because I didn't have I only had a nook just like you do, a nook. And I moved here in August, and I was able to like carve out a spot. So, that's why you can see like the background. Like I didn't have all this stuff before. So
right.
But for a nook, you look marvelous. You look great. You look, for a nook, you're doing fantastic. Because I had the same thing, and I didn't look any different. Like, I had you get good camera, good lighting, and you're miles ahead of the race right out of the gate.
It's funny. I'm looking at the comments. DJ Epic is saying his stream was trash at first. Yeah, you know what? For those of you who don't know, Epic is one of the few DJs willing to help people. I was so shocked. This was before I became a moderator for him. He was like, let me know if you need help with the camera, like finding the right camera or whatever. And I was just like, you're this huge big time DJ. You would do that? Like, because we were specifically setting up on Twitch and I didn't know which one to go to. So I actually went, speaking of which, hold on, I need to check something. Oh, shoot. So with this camera that I have, because I actually hate Logitech, let me start talking crap about it. Notice I didn't curse. I said crap. That is not a curse word.
Okay.
Is that allowed?
No, that's allowed. I was about to, but we'll let it slide. It's all good.
Hey, what's up, DJ Bill? Happy birthday, boo. Shout out to, wait, can you hear my construction really loud? Is it bad?
I heard something, but it wasn't very bad.
Okay. Whew. Okay.
It sounds like someone's vibrating the phone. That's what it sounded like.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. It's construction happening upstairs. So yeah, just bear with me. It's ratchet as well right now. Damn, where was I at? Now I forgot my last thought. Oh, cameras. Oh, Logitech. Hate Logitech.
Yeah.
Damn you, construction. Is damn a word? A curse word? Okay, we're limited to extreme curse. The construction is happening. Just go with it, y'all.
It's louder for you than it is for us. Don't worry. We can hear it, but it sounds like your phone is vibrating or something's vibrating. We don't know what you got vibrating over there, but it's not that bad.
I'm not allowed to have spicy talk during Ramadan. I just want to bring that up. So you guys you can bait me, but I will not.
Okay. What's the point? Then why am I here? We can't drink. We can't have spicy talk. That's
no,
it.
You can talk it. I'm just
fine.
Everybody, you know what's funny? Because my friends are like, "Are we allowed to curse around you?" I'm like, you know what? Go right ahead. I gotta live vicariously through somebody. Listen, so Logitech, I was having issues with the camera where it started to focus, like autofocus. And I didn't realize, like, I had to go to Reddit. So for those of you who don't know, Reddit has a whole thing on Twitch. It's a Twitch channel. And so all the hackers, all of the people are there giving tips. And so there was a section on Logitech. And they basically said that Logitech, although the is it hardware? Yeah, I guess the hardware is perfect. The
Right.
software sucks. And so they said every time you restart your computer, you have to just go and check those settings. And so, yeah, so that's where I was having an issue at, because when people were telling me like, oh, you need to turn your settings off, and I'm like, I did. And then
Right.
my cat was like, you got to do it on the PC. So I did that. And then it was still doing it, but I realized like, oh, I was restarting my computer, and that's what happened. So I've never seen Epic go through those issues. But I think Epic, he talked about on Amani's show that he has the highest level Logitech cam, and I have the $100 jump. So,
Right.
I don't know if he has to go through those problems, but yeah.
I,
Drama when trying to stream. There we go.
I've been through that. I'm actually I'm not actually using my Logitech. The Logitech is the one that I just tried to show you that's hanging up in the corner. So that's my I call it Cam of God. And then but now I've switched to, I had an older camcorder, like a video camcorder. And so I have the HDMI going out in the camcorder and that's the main camera now. And so that gives you less software settings, but it's also, once it's set, you know.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I start working again, I'm about to hit everybody up again. Like, okay, what cam? I don't know if I want to have the multiple cams up. But we'll see. I'm trying to think. What else do I want to do with this? Right now, I'm trying to get the. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I've used multiple cams for sometimes, like you know how you have like streams starting soon. So like, to let people, if you're not actually actively talking, sometimes there's like that little preview time. So then I'll pop up like a different camera angle. So you see me, you see that I'm here. You know, I'm here. We're here together. It's live. It's not just like a countdown screen or something. But on top of it, I would say like starting in, momentarily. So I've used cameras from that, camera for that. In a place like this, if you're not doing anything or showing things, obviously DJs. For DJing, I actually have a different angle, because the DJ set for me is over here. So I do have a different camera for that. And then I've seen DJs that have like an overhead camera. So if you're doing all that stuff, then multiple cameras is cool, but it's not entirely necessary for obviously what you're trying to do.
Right. I think my focus now is to start working on figuring out this OBS stuff. Really, I only want OBS to have where I can show where somebody subs, follows, drops bids, or whatever in the screen. And so I had my friend Jason on yesterday. He did a soft tutorial for anybody who is wanting to learn. He helped me set up Streamlabs OBS, and then he also showed me how to play games on the stream. So if anybody wants to do, for those of you who are novices, feel free to pull up yesterday's stream. He just did a general like, hey, let me show you. And I screen shared on so everybody could see what I was doing. The only thing is I'm trying to figure, because I most of the time have guests on my show, and we couldn't figure out how to do it through Streamlabs OBS and having an extra person on the screen. They didn't have that setting. But it was funny because I was dipping through the gamers yesterday. They had a big gamer convention on Twitch yesterday. I don't know if you guys know. And who sponsored it? I can't even remember, because I'm always plotting on sponsors. They had 4 people. It was like an OBS setup, but they had like 4 or 5 people on the screen. And I was just like, oh, how do they do that? Interesting. So yeah, that's my next thing. It won't happen now, but yeah. Oh, yeah. DJ Gemini, welcome back, honey. He was there. Hopefully that helped. He's seen it was very helpful. So yeah.
I'm able to do it when we do the shows with Zoom. Because if I have you on Zoom, I could do a window capture or whatever of the Zoom screen. I just have to have it set up One thing about StreamYard is that obviously that we're using this platform is that if you pull up somebody, it'll automatically adjust and you can pull yourself off. And with OBS, you got to set all that stuff kind of ahead of time. So I have to have a different layout for Zoom 1 guest and for Zoom 2 guest, because the way they'll situate. And so you got to make the window. So it's a lot more pre-work involved. And I don't know what the gamer, gathering that you saw was using.
StreamYard. Wait, what am I using now? StreamYard or Streamlabs?
StreamYard.
Okay, so Streamlabs OBS, that's completely different from regular OBS. And then they also have a new thing called OBS Ninja, which Amani is going to be going over tonight on his Twitch University stream. So it's a lot.
I started using OBS standalone, but since I start doing all this stuff, definitely Streamlabs OBS, because it just gives you a lot more like kind of built in. And obviously the tie into Twitch, where you can have the things pop up on screen whenever you get a new subscriber, and you can customize those. And yeah, it's all cool stuff.
And I want it very simple. Like, I don't want a whole bunch of stuff going beyond, because everybody's computers can't handle that. Like, I know my stuff starts to freeze up if it's like draining, and it's a lot of the I don't know. I sound crazy. I don't. This is tech speak. I don't. This is not my ministry, but a lot of. Oh, I was about to curse. Damn. Oh, I caught myself. Yes, good girl. It's a lot of stuff happening on the screen.
You have to start using those public
Thank you.
speaking skills.
Thank you, show producer DJ Epic. Thank you. Yes, exactly what he said. It's heavy on the CV, so I don't want to do that with my house cats. Like, like, let's keep it easy breezy. So yeah,
Epic, you're right. I mean, I had to believe me when I came on to and try to upgrade my whole thing. I had to upgrade the whole computer to go to. I was on a 3-year-old set. And it actually gave me a chance to build up something because I build my own PCs. So it gave me a nice chance to kind of, do this now. Of course, I chose to do it when there isn't a single graphics card available on the planet, but that's all right. I'm not into gaming, so I didn't need all the extra,
there we are.
Yeah.
There we are.
So here you go.
What's up, Trina Sunshine? Hey, thank you so much for coming. So let's go into DMX. Oh my God.
I know.
Okay, so let me just talk about this. I don't know when he had the stroke, but I was praying for him. I was praying for him. I was just like, nope. I was getting so offended with all the people, the clout chasers, as the young people call them, trying to be the first to announce that he died. I didn't go with that. Like, I was just like, I'm gonna wait and for Bree. It could have been right. Bree, thank you so much. That's why you're mine. You always correct me, and I appreciate it. Okay, heart attack. But I thought it led to. Okay, we're not gonna go into that. The point is, he's transitioned on. But before they officially announced it, I was just praying like, nope, I'm not gonna believe it. He's gonna come through this. And so literally we were in Neil Jackson's room on Friday. And so I was in there talking like, yeah, I'm checking the news. Oh, Prince Charles died. Okay, DMX, how's he doing? Like, and so we were all in the room. And then I was just like, I'm not going to believe it until it gets officially confirmed. So somebody in Neil's room was like, oh, it's been confirmed. And I'm like, so I'm looking, because this is the journalism side of me. Like, oh, nope, I don't trust anybody. Let me go look. Didn't see anything yet, right? So then everybody was looking, and it's so weird. And I felt so bad because I like to respect streamers while I'm in their channel. And I know from when Neil was on my show, he doesn't really like to talk about death because of past things. So I did apologize in a stream. But I was just like, I just need to know. And so it was weird because everybody else in the chat was on that same page. And so we were all checking, and then they came, another person in his chat was like, yeah, they just confirmed it. TMZ is saying it. And so Neil kind of had to bend to what the chat was talking about, because he likes to be on some peace, and that's perfect. I like to be on peace, like just regular morning stuff. And so he had to bend to the channel because we were all talking about it, and we were all just upset. So Neil started to play the DMX song, and I was just like, this is too much. I gotta go. And I was crying. Like, I can't believe how much I cried over that man. I never knew. So here's the thing. I love DMX. I love him. I didn't realize how much I loved him until he passed away, right? And so I got to thinking, and I'm like, damn, the only person, so you guys all know, you can see it in my profile, Prince is my father, Tina Marie is my queen. Those are my two it's. I've seen them multiple times. Like, the running joke is I'm responsible for at least a couple utility bills at the Purple Mansion in Minnesota because I've seen him so many times. But when I got to looking, I was like, damn, DMX is my number 2 person. I didn't realize how many times I've seen him in concert. And so anyway, but again, I was trying to put it together. Like, I'm so upset. This is so hurtful to me. And so, I don't think I've been this affected. And this is a question to the chat. Like, which celebrity death most affected you? I can say for sure, Prince, Tina Marie. Like, nobody else. And I always thought like, oh, those are my only 2. Because when Michael Jackson passed away, I gave my condolences. I didn't cry over Michael Jackson. I was sad, don't get me wrong, but I didn't cry over him. And I was giving condolences. And then I was like, yeah, I can only imagine, because if Prince passed away, I would take off a week for bereavement. Sure enough, I was at work and he passed away, and I was like, damn.
Done. Bye. I'm out.
Right. Like, this too much. This is my father. I got to go. With Tina Marie, I did cry. Here's the thing. Tina Marie hurt, like that hurt so bad, because first of all, I love her, but during the Twitter days, Tina Marie was a Twitter head. And the young people don't know Tina Marie, like DJ Epic, no shade, but you never play Casanova Brown. Okay, that's all I got to say. That's my favorite Tina Marie song. But anyways, listen, when she passed away, I couldn't listen to her music for a year. Like, it hurt so bad, but going back to her being a Twitter head, Tina Marie, in the middle of the night, she would be up at midnight just talking to us. Yes, she's added me a couple of times. And then she was still touring. And so whenever she was coming up, or she would be in LA or wherever I was at, I would be like, ooh, can you sing Casanova Brown? And that's when I found out she doesn't like to sing those big ballads in large settings. So I was just like, man, okay, fine. But yeah, those were the things. So again, it was her, like, she was like the family, know. So anyways, fast forwarding to DMX, I didn't realize he was in my spirit like that. Like, so yeah, just a lot of crying. I looked at videos. I was upset at the DJs. I'm like, you're not doing a DMX tribute fast enough. And then I realized, like, okay, the DJs, I had to give grace. DJs have to prepare. You cannot just go on streaming. You just can't do a DMX like that. Right. My bad, y'all. But I was like, why aren't they playing DMX? So as time went on, Artistic, shout out to DJ Artistic, he gave a proper tribute. Looking at the interviews and stuff, I was just crying, like, oh my goodness. So that's the first piece of it. How did you take it, or how did you hear about it? Let's go there.
I mean, yeah, heard about it when it came out. Obviously, it was kind of broadcast on a lot of the news channels. I get a lot of news alerts. I'm a journalist. A lot of people, as much as I'm a DJ, I'm also much more a journalist, being a hip hop journalist, and I've worked in journalism for a long time. So, I get alerts, I get updates, I get all the things. And so I found out about that he was, in a bad state, initially. Same thing with you, that when you started hearing the rumors, and the tweets, basically, people RIP prematurely. It was an increase in activity, which, got my antenna up, like something's going on.
Right.
But knowing how past things have happened, in the celebrity death world, that could be triggered by something that's not entirely true, which in this case it was. I think it pretty much, so I look into it and I'm looking for like official sources. And I know that sometimes the internet does get wind of it before, the official source, because the official sources, people have to understand, the reason why they will wait is because they have to get it verified. Mm-hmm. You might get, a blogger or a family member or somebody close that actually has it right and has it early. Right. But I'm not in a rush to proclaim it and be the first to, so I'm waiting for official notification. And but I was curious as to where the activity was all coming from. Right. So I remember I texted my wife and I was like, I texted, we sit in the next room, but I didn't want to get up. And I was like, there's activity on DMX. I literally said, like, I tweeted and I was like, yeah, something's going on. And that's when everything was popping off. And it was because there was a comedian, I forget her name now. Lou
Now.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And she basically had put out an image on Instagram or a tweet that was going around saying, it's over, he's gone. And that's what sparked this onslaught of activity. Mm-hmm. And then she backtracked it at some point. And then Steve Rifkin had to come on and clarify. But I didn't get fooled from any of this, because I knew that when it was actually going to happen, it would be from official sources. But in my heart, because I know that the family had come and that there hadn't been any sort of updates on his health condition that were positive, and in fact they were reporting, that there really hadn't been a change. In my heart, I didn't think that it happened when everyone was kind of blasting out about it. But in my heart, I was like, well, it's close. It's I don't know if their family has to make a decision. That was kind of the rumors. And by the next morning, obviously, that's sort of when it happened. So
Right.
I can tell by the flurry of activity by Lunel, who apparently is close enough to maybe have spoke prematurely, but knew it was. I knew that something was happening. But then the next day, when then it's Rolling Stone, CNN, New York Times, and a flurry of actual official. And so then I went on Twitter or whatever, and I was like, "Y'all see the difference when it actually happens? It's official,
right?
You don't have to jump. You don't have to, prematurely. You don't have to get all into it early. Just wait, because as you know from what Steve Rifkin said, all that early death proclamation is hurtful,
right?
And the family, and it's like, what you're we shouldn't be participating in that. We should know better by it. We should know how this internet thing works by now. You know what I mean?
They do, but they want the clout. They want to be the person like, somebody made a comment like, when somebody dies, all of a sudden a flurry of pictures come out, with them together. And then, the game who pissed me off the most.
Right.
He was also give somebody flowers. First of all, shut up, narcissist. You want people to bow down to you. You've been doing attention whore. Oops, I was about to curse.
Someone said in response to his tweet, it was like, he was like, if you're not going to love me when I'm here, then don't love me when I'm gone. And someone tweeted, was like, that won't be a problem.
That attention heifer, I'm whore. Wait, I can say whore. Not too long ago, he was all on, I'm the best rapper out of Compton. I was so pissed. I was punching the air. I was like, not on DJ Quick's internet. You better shut up. He wants y'all to love him so much, and it's not gonna happen.
And the sentiment was wrong. The give people the flowers. DMX got plenty of flowers. He was just on a Versus. He sold all the records. He was still on tour. He was still
all of that. All of that.
Like he was forgotten. So yeah, I get it. I don't like that sentiment that much. Because I bet you know what was Game talking about DMX? Like,
not at all. But we're not going to give him any more energy because that low-level rapper, I cannot stand him. We just don't let it go. This is about DMX. But you know what? It took me back to Tupac. Because I'm like, what other rapper has? Okay, so actually, Phife, Epic. You mentioned Phife. Hold on. Let me see who else everybody was affected by. Hold on, let me scroll up.
Who got me? Whitney Houston.
Well, first of all, the whole East Coast, like I was living in New York when she passed. Matter of fact, my name on the streets is Kitty threw this epic repast party the night she died. So she was still in the bathtub. I sent a text out to everyone. I'm not even trying to be funny, but this is really what happened. I sent a text out to everybody because I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I was like, yo, we about to have a repast, grab liquor, grab a bucket of chicken, chips, whatever you can grab right now and come to my house. And everybody who I knew came. All these industry people were at my house. And to this day, they still talk about it like, Kitty knows how to throw a party. And I'm like, well, it really wasn't a party. We were celebrating the life of Whitney Houston. Right. But we talking about rappers. So Biggie, yes.
Clearly, absolutely.
So here's the thing about Tupac. So of course I'm from LA. We, East Coast, West Coast, we celebrate. We stole Tupac from the East Coast. Y'all didn't deserve him. You didn't appreciate him.
As an East Coaster, I'm telling you, Tupac hit me hard too. That because just I love Biggie like we all did. But I wasn't indifferent to Tupac. I thought that Pac was an incredibly powerful figure, and I thought that he had such an incredible potential. So yeah, no, that was hard. That was real hard.
So here's the thing with Tupac. When he got shot, we were already used to Tupac getting shot. This sounds bad, but he loves us. He's hiding out in Cuba right now. He's looking at this stream right now laughing. Okay, so for those of you who weren't born yet, a lot of y'all weren't born yet. I'm an old cow, so I'm gonna tell you what happened. Tupac had gotten shot so many times and he was so mouthy, that, we just really thought he was invincible. And so when he got shot 11 times again, we were just like, oh, he's gonna survive that. So, that's nothing.
He didn't die right away. He was,
right. That's what life said. Tupac ain't going nowhere.
Right. He's gonna take a couple days to come back. He won't be in a wheelchair in the street with his blanket on. He might take a couple days this time, but he'll come through.
Listen, so none of this clout chasing stuff that was happening with DMX was happening because no one expected him to die. It was just like 11 gunshots. Okay, what's up? All right, y'all, see you at the party. So when the news confirmed that he died, we were like, what? Are we talking about the same Tupac? Like,
I had to pull over. I was driving. I heard Angie Martinez, Hot 97's.
Wow.
I was driving. I had to pull over. And stop. And exactly like you, I was like, because I mean, like that was the first like major young artist that was kind of current that died. You know what I mean? In our coming up like parallel with hip hop history, and so that was major. We had death, in the
music. Epic just dropped a good one when Jam Master Jay. So I think, we didn't really in LA. I'm not saying we weren't affected by it, but it didn't like. He's to be respected. Like that was a crazy death. But I really don't remember. Like I remember where I was at with Tupac, and that's not to lessen the importance or the significance of it. But you might be able to speak to that more, Manny, as far as like how did you take
because it's local. Like I went to church in South Jamaica, Queens. You know what I mean? So we knew the area. We knew and of course it's like a hometown hero. And again, what was specific in my mind, I guess, with Pac and Biggie is that they were very current and very active and very in your face. And not to say that Jam Master Jay, Run DMC still wasn't, but they weren't current. They weren't like, so there's something to be said for seeing someone vibrant every day, every hour on the radio all the time. And then, and such a tough, but especially for the hometown, New York crowd, we know those areas, we know that vibe. And it was completely out of the blue and unexpected.
Right.
Something that you wouldn't like, again, not for nothing, but Pac had been shot several times. You weren't surprised. There's drama surrounding the young man's life. You would expect someone like Jay, you know what I mean? Like, why would this happen? Sort of like a totally innocent figure and, an icon, and still young, not to say just not being super current, but still super young.
Right. I just saw one person, since we're talking about local. So Eazy-E. So Eazy-E was my neighbor. So we talked about this before. So MC Ren was my local, and so I don't know how that affected everybody else on the East Coast, but I'm from Compton. So MC Ren, like as I've told you guys before, was my direct next door neighbor. Like how close Manny is to me on this screen. That was my direct next door neighbor. So Eazy-E would always be in the yard. So Eazy-E lived on the same block. He was just around the corner. So of course, when he contracted AIDS, which depending on who you ask in Compton, we kind of believe that, we kind of don't, we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole right now. When he passed, first of all, I remember being in church, like we got to pray, like this is our neighbor, it was shocking because, up until then, and it's a little flurry because, buzzy. What word am I trying to say? I'm spacey right now. I haven't had meat. Blurry. That's what I'm trying to say. Blurry.
Abs on your comment on screen. Abs that's another thing that happened with Jay. Is like there was nefarious things happening, and it didn't feel right.
No, I don't. Abs are one. So I was younger when we were coming up, and then of course when he blew up. So I was still a girl. I'm not saying I was 2 years old, but I'm maybe 6, 7, and that. My mother and my aunts used to babysit MC Ren. So because again, we were really close with their family. So yeah. Anyways. Here nor there, when he passed away, it was very sad. But again, like but that wasn't murder. Well, it was depending on who you ask, but not like a gun down stuff. But I mean, again, I came up through Compton through the 80s, so we were used to like, okay, we shouldn't normalize drive-bys. But anyways, the 80s in Compton was a very interesting time. I will say that. But yeah, as far as rappers though, so when I was older now, Tupac probably was that person, and we were just shocked. I remember Biggie the day he passed away, and it was just like, damn. But Tupac, I just remember him being on all the radio stations. I mean, Tupac DJ Icy Ice is in here. He could speak to that. Like he would always be on the radio in LA talking about uplifting the community. Like he was the real deal. What's funny? Because somebody mentioned Nipsey. I wasn't familiar with Nipsey's work until after he passed away. I'm one of the few people who are honest with that, because before, like after he passed, everybody was on him like, oh my God, we loved him. Oh my God, Snoop called him Jesus. And I was just like, oh, Okay. But based on what people who knew him and were close to his music, they said that he was another form of Tupac.
Yeah.
And after seeing some of the stuff, some of the interviews, I was like, yeah, kind of, but not quite all the way there.
Right.
But I'm not trying to take away from those who are mourning him.
I think he had that DNA. I think he was, on that path, on that way to do things, and was clearly doing things along those lines. So yeah, I think probably an inspiration. If I don't know if he's ever listed him as an inspiration, but definitely cut from that same kind of, cloth, or attempting to be, or moving in that direction. Yeah.
Right.
Certainly a one of a kind individual, but also came from like his direct upbringing, and obviously all his
Right.
his family history and stuff. But yeah, I thought Nipsey was a good representation of that that inspiration, that legacy.
This is a good segue into what I really wanted to touch on, which is legacy. A lot of these rappers, I mean, it's trash rappers. I could get messy right now, but I don't have the space in my mind right now. I'm still focused on weddings. But, I really, if I wanted to, sometimes I do fall down that rabbit hole where I want to trash the trashy rappers. But I'm going to mention The Game because he's a trash rapper. They want so bad to have that level of, what is the word I want to use here? Help me out, Manny. That peak, that love. They want the love from the community. They want the respect. Right. They want all of those things.
The adulation.
But they're not there. They don't understand legacy. So when we talk about DMX, we can sit back and look at his legacy. Look what people have been saying about him. So right. I talked about it on my Twitter account where I was just like, he was a prayer warrior. If you've been in a room, which I've had the honor of being in a room where he prays, like you guys, a lot of people who haven't been in a room alone with him or be in an intimate setting, those prayers just like lift the hairs off my arms. Like he just like, you already get it kind of when we're watching the YouTube videos, but to be in his presence when he's doing those prayers, it's just like, right. Oh my goodness, like that's his legacy. And so I was looking at one of the Breakfast Club interviews that he did in 2016, and they asked him to do the prayer. And so the coolest thing is so they're all holding hands, right? And then he says, hey, my man, take off your hat. And the dude took off his hat, but he literally pointed his finger, was like, take off your hat now. So Envy took off his hat, but the camera people took off their hats, and then they did this prayer. And it was like he was known for doing these prayers. So now we have these little, because people want to crack jokes. I mean, I guess it's another clout thing or whatever, but like, oh, well, he was a crackhead. He did this, he did that. And it was just like, we're all flawed. Right. But his legacy was he was a man of God, and that's powerful. He stood for something. And so these other people who are in the industry, regardless if you're a rapper, a comedian, or whoever trying to trace clout, it's like you don't stand for anything. I think now in this day, like I come from a generation where we believed in the code of the streets. Like we could really talk real here. If you want to go here, man, like let's go. Like I believe in a code. I follow the code. And that's why a lot of people trust me and work with me. And they don't quite understand why, I have people haters from the side. It's not about me, but I'm just giving an example. Why is it that she's so well liked or whatever? Because behind the scenes, I follow a code.
Right. Okay.
If you don't understand that, if you didn't come from the streets, if you don't understand, you don't have to come from the streets, but you got to follow a code. So DMX followed a code. He looked out for people. It's just more than, oh, I got your back if we get into a fight at the club or whatever it is. Right. It's, I'm gonna look out for you. I'm gonna care for you. He's gonna come. Here go the construction again. Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna do something else. With Tupac, different. He stood for something, but it was different. Yeah. He stood for social justice. So he talked about it on the radio stations when he was doing interviews. But when he was out on the streets, he would be buying groceries for people. There's so many people running around here with stories about Tupac still to this day, and a lot of these people don't understand. Why do they love pop? And it's a couple of is that bad? Is that noise real bad now? Is this louder now?
It's there, but you're loud, so it's okay.
Oh, I'm loud? I was demure. Oh my God. But a lot of these rappers, a couple of the new ones is like on some F Tupac. He wasn't even really that good. Excuse you? Don't do us like that. No. But they don't understand. And if they understood with the method to the madness and following a code or whatever it is, they could attempt to get a piece of that, but I still don't think they would grasp it. So anyways, going to DMX, that was his legacy. At this age, that's something I've thought about a lot of during this pandemic. What is going to be my legacy? Yeah, I'm a person who engages or whatever, but what is my legacy? And I know what I want my legacy to be, and I'm working on that. But did you like, what are your thoughts as far as like after like everybody finding out the things that you've read, seen, aside from the people trying to be the first to announce that he died, like what do you think about his career, his legacy, his impact on hip hop, however you want to approach it?
Yeah, I think a lot of that of what you said is valuable. The legacy, the prayer, the things that he stood for, et cetera, et cetera. What DMX was and is being remembered for a lot now,
Mm-hmm.
was that dichotomy, being able to be rough and gritty from the streets and all that stuff, but also be introspective and religious and
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, and never being afraid of doing either. That's a very
Mm-hmm.
unapologetic way of living. And when you're authentic in that way, when you're unapologetically authentic, why people say people like you, or people like you because they know that you're authentic. You're not trying to be a certain way for a certain thing. And when
Right.
there are certain artists, everyone plays a role, in artistry, and as a rapper, as an actor, as a singer, as a comedian, everyone plays a role. But
Right.
what not from some, but there are certain artists that are really just giving it to you raw and just
Mm-hmm.
giving them to you. DMX was always like that. It was someone said, I was listening to someone today. This is another thing. DMX's music is being used as there's a bunch of I talk about the intersection of hip hop and different areas besides entertainment, right? As you know, some might not know. So I'm a big on this intersection of hip hop and education, or hip hop and science and technology, or hip hop and the fine arts, and hip
Mm-hmm.
hop and health and wellness. And I often interview people on my other podcast, Hip Hop Can Save America. Nice shirt. We talk
Mm-hmm.
about using hip hop in counseling sessions. So when you talk about the young people, they're like, Tupac ain't nothing. But that's okay. If you're an older person, you're trying to relate to these young kids, be like, okay, where do you find that inspiration? They might find it in Nipsey Hussle. So
Mm-hmm.
their job is to say, okay, let me come to where you're at and not worry about the fact that you might be downplaying or degrading an artist from an earlier generation because somebody means something to you. So let me find a way to kind of use your understanding of hip hop and help counsel you. So, but DMX's music is there's just another podcast, the Lunchroom Cipher, the Hip Hop Ed folks.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about using DMX's music specifically for that because the vulnerability, the struggle, the hardness and the softness, the
Mm-hmm.
spirituality was all wrapped up in his music at the same time. And
Right.
I don't know, one of the most influential songs for hip hop, just for the trajectory of hip hop. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, it wasn't like as transformational as The Message or so early. But when LL Cool J did "I Need Love," right, that was monumental at the time because here's a hard street rapper, doing all the things, and then he's so soft and vulnerable and just telling about love and I need that when I'm alone in my room, and that was game changing in a way,
Right.
because you got to see a vulnerable side of someone who's so, and that's everybody, right? You don't have to be from a poor neighborhood or underserved community or an oppressed community, but for those that are, they recognize and they see that person because they're not bad people. They have to maybe put on a front sometimes because you got to survive in your circumstances, but they're good people that think about themselves and God and spirituality and legacy and life
Right.
and humanity, and am I going to die early because I'm in these circumstances? And then removed from that, people can look in and say, wow, is this not an example? I don't live that badly. I'm in a better life. This because DMX had a lot of, suburban fans, white fans, people that didn't, come from such, difficult circumstances. But they might
Mm-hmm.
look in and say, as much as this guy talks about, and then as much as you see him go through publicly with drug problems, with tax problems, with being arrested, dog cruelty charges. I'm not justifying all the bad things he might have done, but you see someone that's very real in their life, and you can look at that and say all these circumstances this guy's going through, and he still gives it his all. He still comes with ferocity on stage, but then quiet prayer and meditate. Sort of a community feeling. That's resiliency. That's something I can admire. You know,
Right.
that's one thing you get from that art, and you don't get that from one person a lot. Again, Tupac, resembled some of this, because he would speak about, not, DMX not a social justice warrior, you know what I mean? He was a spirituality and I want to be a better person, and I want to live right by God, and I'm struggling because of me and because of my circumstances. Some of it is my fault, some of it isn't. I mean, we all feel that every day. We're all struggling to be better people, unless you're pure evil, and so you saw something, and it was all wrapped up in one guy that gave you his everything whenever you saw him.
Right.
Right.
I was going to add, not even just that, because like in front of the scenes, we see one thing, for us, those of us who are in the industry and we encounter celebrities a lot, the one thing that I wanted to put out there, and I have posted for those of you who follow me on IG, I talked about the story on the time where I was alone in a room with him. So this is when J&R Records was still, for those of you who don't follow me, I'll tell the story really quickly. What's up, Long Beach Slime? Welcome. So J&R Records, who is no longer in business, back when I was living in New York, they had me on their short press list. Of course, they had big media or whatever, but they had their own in-house press that they would invite out. So I was on this list. And so, I came across, living in New York, I came across a ton of celebrities. Even living in LA, I've always been around celebrities, whatever. But the one time where, matter of fact, it was, damn, who's the other rapper that was there? Damn, now I have to go back and look through those pictures. But I have tons of pictures of DMX while he was performing, looking up, like you could tell, like I was in a press pit, how close I was to him. But it was at the very beginning of my career. I had this brand new DSLR camera, didn't know how to focus it. I talked about that a little bit on the IG post. And so you see this blurry picture of him. I have other pictures, but it was all performance pieces. And a matter of fact, his longtime DJ, who I can't remember right now, I was like, hey, I just hit him up on Twitter, like, hey, I got this random picture of you with DMX. Here you go. You're all up in the picture. But anyway, so that was my favorite picture, because that was when he was talking to me. And so I wanted everybody to know, like, DMX was the nicest celebrity I have ever encountered. And I've encountered quite a few celebrities. And I love the fact that other people were speaking to that afterwards, because I'm like, no. He was nice, like not gullible nice, but just like, so what he had said to me. So I asked him, I was so humble. I was like, Mr. DMX, sir, can I please just take a picture of you? And I talked about in the IG post, like why I didn't ask to take a picture with him, because I wanted to be respected as a journalist. Respectable journalists, they don't ask for pictures with the celeb.
I don't have very many. I know. Yeah.
Right. Like there's been times where the only person who I asked to take a picture with was Amber Rose, of all people, because she's magical. But I didn't ask to take a picture with him. So anyways, this is blurry picture currently. You guys can go and look of him. And I didn't even get his full body. I was looking at that picture cringing, like, oh my God, I've come so far since those days. Because now not only am I selling my writing, my coverage, I'm selling my pictures. It's a lucrative business. But back then I wasn't doing that. And so he did it. And then he complimented me on my camera. He was like, hey, that's a nice camera you got. I was like, thank you. And then the other pictures I have where he had his sweat towel, I ended up with his sweat towel.
Wow.
That's random. It has nothing to do. But anyways, just that little bit of moment of interaction, it wasn't awkward. It was just nice. So I just want, if you don't walk away with anything else, no, he was the nicest person. Like, oh my goodness. Anyways, that's
I've seen a lot of that. I've seen something that was talking about he promised someone an interview, but he was busy. And then by the end of the thing, he was getting on the bus and he was like, wait, I got to go do this interview. And the guy was like, no, it's okay. Yeah. Like y'all are really pulling out. Like y'all got to go. He was like, no, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to say, and he did an interview with the guy. And this was like just a random, just a random, blogger or journalist or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of that interaction as an industry person in the industry, but not being that industry person. You know
right. Yeah. How is that even possible? Because so many people share his same background. I'm not saying everybody was on drugs per se, but you come from drug backgrounds, with, even me, family being on drugs, you know what it is. So we all a lot of us start out on the same playing field. What changes people? Because at his peak, he was making 10 million an album. I think I read somewhere back then, he never changed. So what is it that causes these people to change? That could be another conversation for a different show, but he never changed. It's just so sad. So sad. So Yeah, I felt it was my duty to pay tribute to him and just talk about his life. And one thing another thing that I learned about him was slipping. He didn't curse on that song. So the artist that he sampled, the is it the beat, the background music, he sampled that was the stipulation that for him to use that track, he couldn't curse. Like, did you know that?
Interesting. No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I've heard that thing happening in sampling, but
right. That's actually the term I should have used, sampling. So he sampled that song from whatever that artist is.
Grover Washington Jr.
Said it again.
Grover Washington Jr.
Oh, that's where it came from? Interesting.
Hold on, I'm doing this now. I'm doing this live. See if it works.
Wait, they're gonna mute that out on my
yeah, they probably will. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But, yep, that's it. That's all we need.
Okay. 10 seconds,
you know. I just did a little blurb. Yeah, I just did a little blurb. You can recognize it when I play that. That's all you need. But yeah, so Grover Washington Jr., Moonstreams, name of the song.
Wait, Long Beach Line has the dirty version? Wow.
They didn't release the dirty version. Oh, there is a dirty version.
We didn't know that. He said he snuck in the N-word real quick. Like he said they didn't catch it. He said, I stuck it in. That's what he said during the interview. It was so funny. He was like, I didn't get it.
They could have had a dirty version for the mixtape circuit, and kind of let that slide under the radar a little bit.
This is why I love Twitch DJs. All of you guys have like access to music that we would never hear. Like somebody recently was playing Little Kim. It could have been Long Beach Line because he bestie like that. I love him though. Little Kim's real verse where she was she was going in on Faith Evans, and I heard it and I was like, what? Maybe it wasn't Line. It was somebody, but it's the original verse. But anyways, another conversation, different day. See, this is why we got to have you keep coming back, Manny, so we can talk about this stuff.
I love all that stuff. I love all that stuff.
So DJ Epic. I don't know when Grover Washington passed away. It could have. When did Slippin' come out? Does anybody know what year? I didn't do my research. Sorry. I feel like my house cats know everything.
I'm cheating. 1998. Yeah.
When did Grover Washington die? Is it his estate that put the stop on that, or was he still around? Anybody Google? Let me Google, I guess.
1999. He died in 1999.
Oh, so he was still alive. So yeah, so he basically told him like you can't curse on the album if you use the music. Yeah, both of those albums went platinum. It was sometime in the 2000s. Okay, here we go. That's our music trivia for the day, everyone. Yeah, so I learned that about him. I learned something else, but I don't know if it's true. I kind of feel weird, like saying, because talking about the drug abuse, they said that somebody turned him out and gave him a laced blunt, and I was just like, wow.
I think he said that. I think he's said that he had there was an older person in the mix,
his manager at the time or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he said that he got started. That's how he got started. He was a teenager at the time or whatever. Yeah, I'm almost certain.
I feel so bad. So bad.
Okay.
Oh
no, I was gonna bring up a thing since we're talking about like sort of his struggles. I think it's important to talk about his struggles. I think he was someone that always expressed his struggle. I mean, I don't think he really talked about like that, but in terms of this push and pull of life, and I think that it's important to talk about that. And I think that's one of the important things that he gave us that has led to some of the good things that I think about hip hop, is that you can have different subject matter. You can have vulnerability. You can have, again, men, black men. Sometimes there's this taboo of showing vulnerability and all these things, and that can be damaging to mental health. I'm no mental health professional or expert, but it's been said many times by folks from that community, and that's something that when you have an artist like that who did that again so unapologetically authentic, it had to. And I'm speaking. I can't speak for people directly, but I know that there are people. There's no question in the work that I do and hear from people that would listen, that came up listening to a DMX and found solace in that, even though there's struggles that they're going through struggles. Let's also talk about the fact that there's a thing in it. This is New York centric, but it was around the internet. The Daily News. You see this front page of the Daily News. I don't know if you saw this image of, on one hand, it's they did
Prince Charles.
Yeah, Prince Philip. Yeah. Beloved.
Oh, oops, did I call him Charles? Oh my God, I'm trying to kill off the family. I'm sorry. One of them. Okay, I got you.
But yeah, the Prince on one side, the Prince, it said the Prince, and it said beloved Prince, gone at 99. And then on the side, and the rapper, and then it says brilliant but troubled musician. And there was some pushback on that because of the juxtaposition of showing the Prince as this smooth, charismatic guy that, and calling him beloved. And then DMX, fine picture and all that, but calling him troubled. Like, you could have just said brilliant musician. And there was an argument. I was having some debates with some people about this because some people were very up. My son was up in arms about this whole thing.
Right.
And I'm not going to get into how we are quick to call out mainstream media when they do disrespectful things toward hip hop, which I've done. I have a record for that. Everyone talking about Ebro in the mix. There's no love here for Ebro and Hot 97 and what they've done for hip hop and how they've been detrimental to the culture. Another whole side topic. But I've called out NPR. I've called out the New York Post. I've called out things, and we have to do that. We have to call out mainstream media when they are disrespectful or ignorant towards the depth of hip hop culture.
Right. I agree. Yes.
But we also have to call out hip hop media, who has done a terrible job of making hip hop seem like it's important and giving it their own depth and breadth, because they just follow most of the gossipy kind of stuff for clickbait. Anyway, at the same time, the juxtaposition of those two things was what was troubling. The Prince, who was just recently rumored to be racist towards his grandchild, or whatever the case may be, Meghan Markle, that whole situation is beloved. Right. You know what I mean? Is beloved and a class act. But the rapper who was troubled, you have to mention. So it's the dichotomy of that front image. However, I will say that if you had just put the front page of DMX by himself and called him brilliant but troubled, I think that's okay. And I think it's important that we recognize those flaws. We recognize those struggles. We recognize that he was very real about that. And that is a good thing for people to do, to be able to recognize their vulnerability, talk about their vulnerability, put their vulnerability in songs, and then be inspired by people that do. So I didn't like that they did it in that way, with that sort of black and white kind of, because if you look at the lettering, it was the whole thing. So I didn't like the way they juxtaposed it. But just going back to what you're saying about how important it is, I think that people from all walks of life, but especially from communities, and cultures that have been, it's been harder to accept that kind of vulnerability and speak in mental health and that's important. So I think it's important to talk about that. That's all. I think it's important to have these conversations and recognize the vulnerability and the struggles and all the problems. And then also recognize that, we could talk about why there's a drug problem in the community where he comes from, you know what I mean? And get into the socio-political aspects of it and go even deeper into that hole. But to just, to whitewash it away is bad. To, call him brilliant, but not recognizing the vote, because that's an important part of who he was. That's
right. I mean, do you think that now maybe this is the time where we start having those conversations about vulnerability? Before, I think it was a whole, you weren't seen as being masculine if you talked about your struggles or talked about being in love or anything extreme. It's like, oh, because you're not a man, if you do this stuff, but now it's like, we're coming through a pandemic. Maybe this is a different time. Maybe the burden is on us to start opening these conversations up. I mean, I agree with hip hop media. A couple of you spoke to what Manny was saying. The first thing that popped in my mind was Mona Scott Young. I hate to put that target on her back, but it's just like, you're responsible. You have the Love and Hip Hop franchise, and it hasn't done anything positive. The only person who got out of that was Cardi B. Did anybody else come? Like, what's the one that dated Jocelyn? See, I don't watch it. I only watched the first season of it. Right. What's the one, Stevie? Did that do anything for his career? Well, he's not a rapper, but
right.
But he had a solid career, right?
Maybe that's Joe Budden, who actually invented love and hip hop, before Joe Budden was that was his blueprint, But to your point, right? There are these brilliant. I don't say brilliant. It's a bad word for what we're talking about. These are successful, outlets. Love and hip hop. again, the Hot 97 situation, which I could speak about at length. Anyone want to grab me? I'll tell you exactly why. They've done more to hurt hip hop than almost anything.
I mean, starting the beefs and stuff, all the background stuff, all the stuff, getting people shooting and stuff, the shootings at the concerts and stuff. That was a lot of the strings being pulled. Yeah. Okay. We're not gonna go.
Again, to call out the Daily News and all hip hop media literally yesterday when there were members of hip hop media agreeing, with this whole concept of, calling out, the mainstream media, and literally on the same sites that they represent, some of them, not all of them or whatever, but the big sites. If you go to a big website that has hip hop in the title, and there's a couple, yesterday, the top story, not 2 days after DMX dies, 2 days after that, the top story, Diddy and 50's baby mama drama. Not 2 days after DMX died, you can still find the New York Times talking about DMX in an interesting, deep way 2 days after. So don't stop. Anyway, side topic. We're not here for that. We're here to say that some outlets did a very good job of eulogizing DMX.
Who you think it was the New York Times?
No, I think the New York Times actually the New York Times will do a respectable obituary on any powerful person. They did a perfectly fine job. There was an interesting op-ed on the New York Times about again some of the stuff we're talking about, the what DMX's poetry. I think they said poetry of death, which is an interesting way to phrase it. But again, talking about these topics in music and in artistry. A very good friend of mine, Shanita Hubbard, wrote a nice piece on Essence about how that vulnerability in rap meant a lot for her, when listening to a DMX. So there have been plenty of good pieces about.
I haven't read anything because I was so emotional. But one thing I question when I do get around to reading, because people know that he struggled with drugs. But here's the thing: if you've known anybody who was on crack, let's keep it real. They could stop doing the drugs, and then because all of the effects, your body deteriorating years later. So you could be off drugs for a couple years and still die from complications of it. So my only question was, did he die? Like, because people are putting out there like, oh, he OD'd. First of all, I know for a fact the toxicology report hasn't come back because that takes a couple of weeks, boo. That's for anybody. I don't care if you DMX or your auntie, your uncle, your neighbor, whoever. It takes a couple of weeks. So we don't know. Yeah, we know that, if it was a heart attack, I was over here saying a stroke, my bad. It could have just been that. We don't know. Now what I can say is, because one of the things going through all of this, I was like, I'm gonna tell y'all what my flaw is. I coddle people who I care about, especially the men. But as it relates to me, my aunt was on drugs. She was what we call a functioning crackhead. And people in my family would call her crackheads all the time. And I loved her so much. And I was like, how did we know that? Have we seen her do it? Don't put that on her. But sure enough, she was. I had to face that. So anyways, when I was looking at the 2016 interview, I watched multiple interviews, but this specific one, and I was like, ooh, he's high. Ooh, it's coming out of his pores. I could see it. His eyes, all of that stuff. It's in his behaviors. And I was like, I've been coddling him. And that hurts me so bad that I do that with people and so one thing that frustrated me was that, so he was on the Breakfast Club and he's picking up the bottles that they have laying around. Now, my friend did bring up a good point. She was like, do you know if he brought it there or was it there where they had it there already? But when I look at the interviews, they always have bottles of liquor around. So I was just like, are we enabling, not just DMX, but are we enabling the other people that we know talk about drugs? So like, for example, let's bring up Lil Wayne. We are looking at him now. He looks casket sharp. I'm not even trying to be shady, but we have to be real. He does not look good.
I mean, it's a terrible thing to think, you're like, because exactly. You're like, I might have expected, might not have been surprised if that news, hit. And that,
we already had an episode, but he lived through it.
Several. Yeah. Seizures and such. Yeah. Maybe that's the turning point, and maybe that's helped him out. And great. We want these folks to live forever. But I think I don't know if you're getting at this, but my mind just wrote down, remember, these are systemic problems. Drug abuse, not having proper health care. There's a whole, you saw the Black Rob video that came out, of him in the hospital, not having health insurance, being a successful artist, and So, artists, and especially rap artists, or, people in urban music, not having infrastructure for helping them after their careers kind of wane a little bit over the years. Still being in communities that are underserved and oppressed and marginalized and all the things, these are the bigger issues that come out of something like this. This isn't like Grover Washington Jr., who we talked to, passed away when he was, 80 something years old or whatever the case may be. This was, young, either black or brown, artists, but that are still, kind of their community in some way, attached to their community in some way. And these communities are not doing the right thing. These communities are not doing the right things. These are the issues that they shouldn't still have to deal with.
Right.
All years of being rich and successful. So what do we as a society have to do to help out to do the right things in these areas or with these individuals? These are problems that a 50-year-old man with a lot of money, if you're 50 and rich and you're still having these problems, then, where do you address these issues? How do you address these issues?
And then one thing people need to know is like, we have to address them because it's in the lyrics. It's not only, you would think like, oh, okay, well, they're doing drugs. That's just them. It doesn't affect me because I'm not on drugs. No, but it's laced into the music. So when these artists come out saying, I'm not a role model for your kids. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, it is the burden of the community, not just the parents, but the community as a whole, to help, keep the kids on the right path. But here's the thing. When they got them headphones on and you're talking about scissor and the new drug, which no one's really having conversations about, which is crystal meth, which that's recently affected me through my roommate who just passed away from that. But, it's in there, and it's like, it's the normalization. Like, it's okay. No one, like, we used to call each other out, like when they talked about, beating women or whatever, selling drugs, that became a thing. But now it's taking drugs. Like, it's the cool thing now. And so many people, like, it's running through the community, and not to be disrespectful, but to keep it real, in the Black community, crystal meth, we like, oh, that's a white people thing.
Right.
That shit is not, oh, y'all didn't hear that. So,
I had to go find a button.
Y'all got to keep me on task.
But your point is, I had to talk about, I speak about hip hop a lot. I'm on podcasts and I talk about these things and how hip hop can be used to help, young people. Right. And part of that comes up where it's like, some of us older hip hop heads, older hip hop fans or aficionados or whatever, we're cut from a little bit of a different cloth, and we will look down upon the subject matter and content matter of the songs that young people are making or listening to today. The joke, quote unquote, is that we used to be about selling drugs. Now we're all about taking drugs.
Right.
And these kids are talking about drinking, sipping lean, and then now using all these popping pills and Xannies and all this stuff. And to your point, they're telling you, like, there's a reason why young people are being attracted to that music. It's because like Juice WRLD being depressed, and then like all these songs about people taking drugs, popping pills. Like, you got to be more concerned about why your kids are, not that you don't like the music, because stop it. So what? Who cares if the stylistically it doesn't float your boat? Okay, you know what I mean. My dad was a jazz man. You think he was listening to Kenny G? No, he was listening to Count Basie. You know what I mean? Like, jazz and blues. He wasn't listening to. So fine. We have to get past that, because if all we do is talk about the difference in the what's on the radio today is crap, but we're not saying, well, your children are listening to that music and they're relating to it. So either they're super depressed, they're super drug addicts, you know what I mean? Or they're super trying to tell you these things or get this stuff out. And this is the only place they can find that kind of community.
Right. Back in the day, oh, I'm sorry.
Finish my last thought. That's why the counselors that I know, the school counselors that I know that are embracing hip hop as a tool, they're older too. They come up in the golden era just like we did. They're like, I don't really like what you're listening to, but I respect you connecting with it, and let me find out why you're connecting with it so that I can help you out through that language or through that tunnel that you're in. And I'm telling you, the receipts are there. I interviewed them for the show. Like, they telling you that's how they're doing it, and it's being successful. They're saving kids' lives by not just turning their nose up at the fact that all this drug use is being mentioned in the music, and that these kids are kind of into that scene now. Yeah, help them. If it's crystal meth, then yeah, help them. Find out. Like, yeah.
Right. Even before the drugs, like you touched upon that as far as talking about depression, back in my day coming up, we weren't allowed to be depressed. Like, I grew up in Compton, but here's the thing, strict Southern Baptist, right? And so, what they used to teach us was we don't get depressed. That's a sin. Yeah. That's a sin. You should, if you feel depressed, you need to talk to God. You're not doing it right. And so, of course, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say the F word. It messed me up, and I had to go to therapy because I was going through depression. But now
what the church does, like the church has some fault in this.
That rabbit hole. Ooh, yes. Oh my God, there's so many rabbit holes we can find now. But listen, the church has kind of been losing their battle. And no, they are not the victim, but because of the stuff that they pulled, the stunts, it's caused a lot of people to turn away from it. And so that's actually one interesting thing about DMX, because now in this day, it's not cool. And I'm not here preaching to anybody. You believe what you want to believe. Even if you're atheist, I have atheist people around me. It's fine. It's all respect. I'm not trying to change you. You don't change me. It's respect, right? But the church, they've done so much damage that it's just caused so many people to turn away, not only turn away, but to rebel. And so I actually had this deep conversation with one of, he was a pastor or something. And I was just like, you out of touch. You don't know, like, he was so frustrated at me. And then when he got to the point where he felt like he was going to start cursing, he was like, I'm going to walk away from this conversation. I was like, no, it's all in respect, but I just have to point out, I have to call you out. You guys are out of touch. You're preaching from a pulpit, trying to collect money, but you're not in these streets to see what's going on. Like point in case, like abusive situations. I came from a very abusive background. Right. I had to walk away from the family, and still the church was like, well, what did you do? I didn't do anything to deserve somebody hitting on me until my adult years. Like, what? Like, what reason do you need to say this is not okay? But the same thing, so many different communities, different young people, whatever, they're just, the Bible says this, and it's causing people to turn away. So the morality part of it. So back in the day, people would get called out, thank you so much, Nay. Welcome. People would get caught up when we were coming up in the 80s, 90s, because people were really looking to the lyrics. Now it's just such a disconnect. No one's paying attention. They're allowing the music. Like if a parent can get a 5-minute break, they're going to let their kids listen to this music. They're not vetting the music. Just like back in the day, parents used to vet where their parents said, oh, if your kid comes home, oh, I want to spend the night at such and such house. Parents used to be like, who was that? Let me come up in there. Let me see who all up in there. You have to do that same thing with the music, because listen, if you listen to the same thing over and over again, it becomes like, oh, well, it's cool. They seem to be functioning. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes with these artists, but on the surface, it looks like they're doing it. So these kids are experimenting. Again, going back to the crystal meth thing, the internet. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll post you, Trina. The internet. Damn, wait a minute. Now, what was I going to say? I lost my point. Oh my God, because I was reading the chat. What was the last thing I said?
The internet. Vetting the music, finding out. You were back on the crystal meth tip, and then you were going to say.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm having a senior moment right now, Manny. I'm older than you. You're my little brother. Thank you. Okay, so the internet, they post all these crystal meth pictures of people, again, going to the white people with missing teeth. So you think that's the face of crystal meth, right? Okay, so wait, and let's pause there for a second, because like, does it feel like the 80s all over again to you, Manny, at this point? I lived through the 80s. That was rough. Like, I'm not laughing with my old people, like, what was worse, the 80s or 2020? I can't tell. It's like the same. Like, listen, for all of us who made it out of the 80s, you need oops, not an effing. You need a merit badge. We survived. It was crazy times. But listen, so
it's that one lady that was alive during the Spanish flu that also made it through COVID, because she's 100.
Right.
You survived both of them things. You got some good DNA right there. You get one of these. We bow down to you, girl. Listen, but
the 80s, we're talking specifically about the crack epidemic.
Right.
Everybody was getting strung out. Like, listen, if y'all want to have cracks, a whole stream on crack in 80s.
Right.
I was telling y'all that before. Like, I'm not watching Snowfall. I lived through that. I don't need to see that again.
I hear it's good though.
Been there, done that. I don't need to see it again.
I heard it's good though. I just haven't seen it yet. But again, that's it. Like, you can't look back and blame, young Kitty for, or the peoples that you were around for all that activity. That activity was thrust upon your community, and nobody working hard enough to stop it. There's money to be made. There's a lot of,
everybody got swept up into it. But here's the thing. So when we're looking at the pictures online, that's the point I was going, and we're seeing all the people with the missing teeth. So now you got black and brown kids thinking like, oh, that's a white people's drug. We didn't lose our teeth. I see people who haven't lost their teeth. So that's what happened with my roommate. He was, first of all, didn't even know, because like he was my age. He was a year younger than me. So he would have just turned 41. Yeah, he would have just turned 41 in September, and I'm 42 now, about to turn 43. Anyways, so I'm thinking like all the old people who if you were born in the 70s, late 70s, and when I say you were born at the end of the 70s, you were alert, you knew what was going on around you in the 80s. That's who I'm speaking to. So I'm like, why would you voluntarily go and do a drug like that? Like, and so with crystal meth, he was smoking around the apartment. All of a sudden, the whole hood, he was picking up strays coming. Everybody was his friend coming through. I was so broadsided, like I didn't even think he would be on crystal meth, because I'm like, who does that? That's a white people drug. Like, I was wrong, y'all. Let me tell you that. No shade. I was completely wrong. But he was smoking it in the house. I was telling my friends, because my friends was like, who does that at this age? And I'm like, listen, I found the crystal meth in his room. I was in his room. I was watching, I never forget, Game of Thrones, because our TV in our living room was, the internet was out or something was acting wonky. Asked him, could I go in his room, watch the show? He was at church, right? Because he's a preacher's kid, right? So anyways, I straightened, Game of Thrones went off, straightened up the bed. I'm coming back out. When I tell you it was an 80s packet, for those of you who lived through the 80s and this some real hood stuff right here, those little Ziploc bags that the weed used to come, you know what I'm talking about, some mini Ziploc bags. When I tell you I haven't seen that since 19...
Those are called glassine envelopes if you pay attention to the wire and be in court. Go ahead.
We showing our ratchet card here. We showing our ratchet card. We innocent, y'all. This is what it looks like when we innocent and we've cleaned up our image. We've heard, allegedly. Right. That's what ratchets say, allegedly. That's our favorite word.
I saw in a documentary.
Y'all forget this ever happened. After this, delete this. So anyways, it was that old school zippy bag came out and it had crystal rocks in it. And immediately my ancestors was talking to me like, girl, you ain't seen this since the 80s. I was like, that's not what I think it is. Nah, who would do that? So so here I go. I quickly scooped it up and put it back under his covers, and then I ran back into my room. So I was like, I didn't see that. No, it's not possible. Who would smoke crystal meth? That's not a black people thing. So the ancestors was talking to me. It was heavy on my spirit. They was like, Google it. I was like, I don't want to get caught up in this. Right. Mind you, a couple weeks before, I woke up in the middle of the night and I had a dude in my room while I was sleeping in the bed, rummaging through my stuff. I popped up out of the bed because when he saw that I was in the bed, he ran back into the living room. My roommate was in the shower, right? So I come out into the living room. I'm like, first of all, I'm turning the TV down. Who are you? Oh, I'm Richard's friend. All right, so here comes Richard. I was like, who is this person? And so he's getting, because the drugs cause you to have an attitude. That's with any drug, right? And so he was like, that's my friend. Why? Never seen this dude before. I said he was just in my room rummaging. So he did ask him, he was like, man, what you was doing? He was like, oh, I thought it was your room. No. So he's pulling the drugs, is causing you to come. So it was all these little things leading up to it, up to the point where I found the crystal meth rocks, right? And so, oh my God, who else's stream can you get these crystal meth stories from? Nobody but here, right? Anyway. So anyways, long story short,
is there a category tag for crystal meth? I gotta
check. We could put that a category. Look, I don't even know if my mods are still here. They've abandoned me. Like, no, you don't went down a rabbit hole. We can't follow you. Anyways, shout out to everybody who's still here. Thank you. And this story is almost over. So anyway, so I Googled crystal meth And sure enough, it was like telling me like there's three. Oh, Fran is still here. Hey, girl. Okay, so it was like there's three forms of crystal meth. It can come in a powder. It can come in crystal rocks, and then I forgot the third one. But then here's the thing that got me. It was like
Can't you
crystal
dip
meth.
like in it, or dip a? Can you lace like a liquid, or I don't know, like a
I
powder?
think it could
Powder.
be a liquid form too. I don't know. You know what, Patrick? Funny you say. I'm gonna come up on that point real quick, right? Because I've never watched the show. So, anyways, here's
Me
what got
neither.
me. Huh?
Me
So
neither.
here's. Oh, okay. See, we not alone. We never saw Breaking Bad. So
No
here's
Breaking
the
Bad
thing.
spoilers. I'm gonna get to it. Trust me.
I
I'm
don't
gonna.
have spoilers either. I don't know. He ain't gonna tell it. No, it's the reason why. I'm gonna tell you why he said
Go
that.
ahead.
So,
Yep.
anyways, what the other thing they said was that it's three different smells. It can smell like a chemical smell.
Mm-hmm.
It can smell like a egg smell, or it can smell like, here's the thing, burnt plastic. That's when I was like, whoa, my house has been smelling like burnt plastic for a year.
Wow.
After the third time I smelled it, I hit him up and I was like, what is that smell? He was like, oh, that's some incense I was burning. Now here's the thing. I burn sage, I burn Santa
Right.
Maria, like all of that stuff. So that has like a unique smell for those of you who smelled that. So I was just like, oh,
Right.
maybe he's on some new stuff. I don't know. Some
No,
positive energy.
this smell like he left a spatula on the burner.
Exactly. That's what it smells like.
Yeah.
And so it was heavy on my spirit. I hit up his friend that always comes over. And you know, the boys, they stick together. I was like, listen, I'm hitting you up. I had a call with him. I called him. I said, I'm not trying to be messy, but I need you to answer a question so that I can protect myself. And so I was like, is he doing crystal meth? He was like, at first he was like, I don't want to get in it. I don't want to get in it. I was like, listen, I am a female. I'm a woman alone in a house with a man who's bringing all these men through the house.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm asking you this for my own safety so I can make informed decisions. Tell me. So finally he said to me, you know what? Yeah, we're all on crystal meth. We are all on crystal meth. That's what he said. He said, I thought you knew because Richard said it was cool to smoke crystal meth on your couch. That's when I had a whole anxiety panic attack. I called my homegirl. Matter of fact, the homegirl that's getting married, I was bawling, crying, like, how could he do this? These dudes been coming in, kicking stuff in the door. Right. Thank you for the bits. That goes to weed. Once I'm done with Ramadan, I'll be back to it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Love y'all. Okay, so I'm all like having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I moved out. So I moved out July, right? So this was July of 2019.
Okay.
He was dead March 2020.
Oh, damn.
Yes. Now, did I think he was going to die from it? No. I thought he would just hit rock bottom and go to drug rehab. Yeah. When I talked to his best friend was like, oh, I thought you knew. So I was so pissed at all these men that were around that knew what was going on. Granted, one of them was on crystal meth, but the other one wasn't. Everybody was like, we thought you knew. Why in the would I live with somebody who's on crystal meth and has an out of control addiction? Oh, thank you for the raid train, guys. I appreciate you. I don't think we're gonna get it, but it's cool. Thank you. Why would I live with somebody like that? You know? And so then they start telling the story where we did an intervention. He stopped talking to us all, so we just ignored it. So you just watch somebody spiral out of control, like, you know. So again, I'm not gonna blame rap lyrics on it because again, he was a preacher's kid. But it's part of the culture and it's dangerous. And it's like, when are we at the point where we start addressing this? And maybe it took, unfortunately, I hate to say this, DMX, King DMX, he is royalty in the community, passing away so we could start having these conversations. Because once I started talking about it, other people were like, yeah, I had that same smell and relating or whatever, because nobody's talking about it really because it's embarrassing. Much like crack in the 80s, nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
All of that other stuff. It's like, why are we brushing this under the carpet? You know, so again,
earlier before, like the young people are talking about it. Like, so maybe if we're older, you know, like someone in the comments that I was reading before was like, oh, we hid that. Now we hid that, you know, the drug addiction. We didn't want to, you know, we were embarrassed by it. Some of the young kids, they're flaunting it like it's the greatest thing in the world. But I guess I'd rather know that either my kid is, you know, using, or a young person is using, or at least is relating to, you know, that kind of, you watch like shows like Euphoria and stuff like that. Like you're seeing that young people are going through stuff and they're trying to verbalize it or let you know, or maybe not let you know. Like they're not trying to just call for help, but that they're relating to that. And again, I can't downplay. I can't, because I don't like how your music sounds, or I think it's too druggy, that I can't look past that. We're at an age now when we should be using our experience, our knowledge of music, the arts, hip hop, this culture, to benefit the younger people. And if all we do is just block them out because we don't like what they're rapping about or what songs they like, and we're missing the fact that, when we were younger, we rapped or we talked or we heard or we vibed with people selling drugs in the hood, right? You were talking about that's because there were people selling drugs in the hood, and that was a big part of a lot of people's lives. And if you're in the suburbs or in a different culture, you're kind of listening and you're living vicariously through them. But that's not to say that that wasn't a real problem in real neighborhoods in the 80s and 90s when people were rapping about it.
Right.
People are going through these real problems with depression. It may be worse now. It's certainly worse as disproportionately affecting communities of color, like everything else disproportionately affects, because the system is built against those communities. So they're going through it. It's hitting them harder. They're expressing it through the music, or they're relating to it through the music, or there's something there. We should be finding ways to address it so that, unfortunately, older people may be not as quick to let you know what's going on, not as quick to try to get help, try to seek help. But young people, let's try to get them when they're young, man. Let's try to figure the problem out before they get to be, unfortunately, as a DMX, too wrapped up in it, too hurt over the years. Maybe not still an addict now, but like you said, body beaten down from decades of drug use.
Right.
And something that we could have taken the fact that he was spilling his guts on the records all them years ago and said, that's something that we all should be doing, and having these conversations everywhere and opening up centers or having resources for people young and old, because they are maybe now willing to go to therapy more. We hear it now. I'll tell you one thing about the pandemic. I'll tell you one thing that was good about the pandemic. In the past 12 months, I've heard the phrase self-care more than I ever have.
That part. Yes.
So people are realizing that, this pandemic's messing me up. And maybe that's the turning point. Maybe you see someone like DMX who meant a lot to you and you can relate to that vulnerability. And so now you want to go get checked out or therapies, talk to someone. And we see more of that now. And I got to say, I've been to therapy. I think you have. We've spoken about it. It's absolutely helpful. It's absolutely a thing everyone should try. And the more that we talk about those things now, and I got to say, within the last year, I've heard it more and more and more. And maybe because of the torment that we all went through collectively.
Definitely. It's unfortunate that we had to go through a pandemic to normalize going to therapy really quickly. So Patrick mentioned Breaking Bad. When I told that meth story, I was talking about it on Facebook. People were like, you never watched Breaking Bad? Because I guess apparently on the show, they walk you through, Patrick, I don't want to assume anybody who's watched the show, please correct me if I'm wrong. But based on what I've heard, they walk you through the process of creating crystal meth. And so, so all of these people have an in-depth understanding of what crystal meth smells like, or whatever it is. And so that was the question to me. Like, you've never watched it? I was like, I've never watched that show ever.
You'd have a big education once you did. I'm with you. I got to do it. I haven't done it. I know it's great. I know I don't have to be convinced. I just haven't gone down.
I mean, we watched The Wire. You watched The Wire, right? Yeah.
And I just want to say something to Patrick's vinyl. Also, I'm reading a thing about Juice WRLD, and I'd mentioned him before specifically for that, because to a lot of people when Juice WRLD passed, that did really affect young people. Yeah, that in a big way. And that's sort of, and again, my work with Hip Hop Can Save America is I talk to counselors who are talking to young kids. They are trying to do exactly what you're trying to do. I'm trying to understand, what is it about the music they relate to? What is it about drug use that they relate to? Why are they depressed? Are they trying to verbalize that they're depressed? Where can I take them? Are they open to therapy? And all of these things can be done if you find the way, through music or get them to a therapist that is, understands hip hop and understands how people relate to hip hop. Doesn't matter where you come from. We can look different. We can be different, but we all can use hip hop as that kind of, that's why hip hop's so great. That's because it is that hub that everyone can kind of connect to. So
I was going to say about the therapy, because part of the root is there's issues. The foundation has cracks in it. And so you have two choices. You can either try to just go through the pain and try to fill the voids, the cracks, feeling the breath. So some people are using drugs to do it, you
Yeah.
know, but there's an alternate way, a more healthier way, which is the therapy route. The problem is therapy is seen as like weakness. Like we're
Right.
just starting to see that therapy is not a sign of weakness.
Right.
You know, I thought of it, you know, when I talked back before I started going, I saw therapy as a form of punishment, you know,
Right.
because the people who were telling me to go to therapy,
I was first introduced to it as punishment, sort of. I felt
right,
it was young. I was a kid.
something negative.
Yeah.
You
Something's
know,
wrong.
the people who were like, you know, and these were my abusers, like, if you're hurt by this, maybe you should go to therapy. That's how it was always said to me coming up. And
Right.
so I got to the point where I was like, why do I have to be the one to go to therapy? I'm not the one hitting, I'm not the one abusing people. You know, it seems to me that the abuser should be the one going to therapy. But thankfully, you know, therapy is for both sides of it. Yeah, they do need therapy, but I also needed therapy to go and heal. And I still go, like I go in, you know, the first time I went for a year and a half solid. Then during the pandemic, I couldn't afford to go consistently, but I did a 6-month bid on it, you know, and I can't wait till I start working back full time again. I'm gonna be right back in there.
Right.
Hold on one second.
And that goes to the bigger question of, you know, who is therapy, you know, who's able to get therapy, because who has good health insurance and what, you know, people can afford it. And that goes to, again, the systemic, you know, inequalities, which affect everything. And that's part of, you know, it's harder to get. I live in downtown Newark, New Jersey, brick city in the house. There are not a lot. I've looked. There's not a lot of therapists in the immediate community. If I was living in Montclair, I bet you I'd find all the top-notch, you know, psychotherapists. That, you know. So again, there's issues.
But right now, what the community, the young people need is just more shows, because right now, like the HBOs and all these people making these shows about depression or whatever, they're doing it in a glamorous type way. It's not real. It's not, you know, you're making it almost seem like you put, I see when a commercial break comes, it's this caption: if you know somebody who's struggling with drugs, call this number. No, after you just made it seem like it was sexy and like it was a vampire from Interview with a Vampire, something real cool. No, you've already done it. You are part of the problem. But unfortunately, we don't like, I wish we had rappers that could be more real. Like, I don't know who we have left who will come and give us what DMX did as far as talking about their struggles, talking about where they're going. And again, like I'm one of those people. I don't listen to a lot of the young people, the young rappers, because it's just like they don't talk about shit. I mean, stuff. Oops, I didn't curse. Thank you. But as a writer, I am somebody who listens to lyrics, and so you know that's why I don't listen to the young rappers, because when I'm listening and I'm like, what in the hell are you talking about? I can't. Long Beach Line, yeah, you have a point. I feel like we shouldn't shade every new rapper. It has to be one.
I don't.
That's mainstream. Can we say Drake? Is he? No, he's not that. DMX and Drake made up, by the way.
Well, and I was saying, although like Drake had gotten, like, some of the anti-Drake fans were coming at him for being too emo, for being too, you know what I mean, like for talking, you know, for being vulnerable. And yet, I think that's part of his success, is that he's able to do
that part,
sort of a DMX thing where he could talk all the ratchety stuff. I've never fully believed his, you know, ratchet DNA, but he talks that talk, but at the same time he does talk the vulnerability talk and the kind of the introspective part. And for as authentic as someone can be, I think he's a great actor. Let's just say that. But, you know, he's doing some of those things. He's giving you some of that stuff. But if we ridicule, and again, it goes to part of your thing of vulnerable is weak, introspective is weak, therapy is weak. Like, no, these things might work for you. They might actually help you out. And, you know, yes, the more people going through it, the more people talking about it, the better. I get your point about, like, I guess you talk about like Euphoria and like these shows like that, where it's, you know, it's a little bit.
Netflix got another documentary on the 80s because now they feel like, before all of this, y'all probably don't remember, all the documentaries was on John Benet Ramsey and Ashley Nicole, that guest model. I forgot the one that died and married the millionaire. They always talk about those two all the damn time. Then they found a new subject to latch onto. So now it's if it's not about slavery, which I get tired of that, black trauma porn, as I call it. Now they're talking about the 80s because they feel like, oh, well, we have a new generation that could see how it was back then. And then all of the crime docs, as far as who was the top drug dealer, drug kingpins, as they say. It's all a glamorization. But what we need, so somebody mentioned, so I see the J. Cole's, the popping up, the Kendrick Lamar's. Here's the thing. I don't know. See, what they're missing, yes, they talk about it in the rap, the music.
Right.
But they're not as loud as a Tupac or a DMX with the messaging. Like when they go, that's the piece that they're missing. And I'm not going to force that on them. That's not in everybody.
I don't think they're missing that. I disagree with you. I'm going to push back on that.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar isn't as loud as Tupac, or as out there as because they don't play Kendrick Lamar on the radio, which is ridiculous because if you listen to We Gonna Be All Right or you gonna listen to I, right? Mm-hmm. Those are uplifting and powerful songs, right? Just as powerful as Keep Your Head Up was for Tupac and Dear Mama. And those songs were on the radio. They were ingrained in us. They put it, I think Dear Mama's probably
really on the radio though.
Kendrick's not on the radio.
No. I was gonna say like Tupac, all of his stuff couldn't be playing on the radio. We were buying his records and getting
Dear Mama and Keep Your Head Up. Keep Your Head Up was on the radio.
Yeah, those two, but not all of his stuff, not all of his main stuff that we I'm not saying he wasn't on the radio, just like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, they are on the radio. So the piece where I'm saying is, yes, they have the music and it's quality music. That part they got. But what I'm talking about is Tupac, when he was doing interviews, just like DMX, they would be loud, barking, like, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like, they were like they were almost like, ooh, are y'all going to assassinate me? But I was about to say like an MLK, almost like they were really going hard, mainly Tupac, because he was very much, but that's his Black Panther background.
But I don't want us to wait for, for that to, we talked about this in the last thing, and I'll say this quickly because I have to advocate for this when it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
That Kendrick and J. Cole are fine examples of this.
Mm-hmm.
But if what we're looking for, and someone said wholesome, rap, and that's one thing. But the other thing we're kind of now talking about is sort of this activism, this artist activist, right? This artist, passionate artist activist that's helping spark change through their, this mixture of artistry and activism.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Tupac is the foundation of that. Again, Nipsey was sort of like that to a certain group of people. But that Nipsey blueprint is important because I'm in New York area. We weren't as up on Nipsey Hussle as if you were at Crenshaw, right down there, where his whole shop was and the whole thing was happening. But for that community, huh?
Oh no, I was going to say again, I wasn't really familiar with him. Actually, that could be a Lon question. Lon, where is he from? Like,
but having the store, having a thing. We heard about him, I think, when he was doing the mixtape thing. But that entrepreneurial spirit, the talk, people were affected by his message in a positive way. Let's just say that.
Right.
There's a Nipsey Hussle. I don't want to say this don't get me wrong. There's one Nipsey Hussle. I respect the guy, but there's a Nipsey Hussle almost everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that by saying, I've interviewed people like Genesis B, who helped lead the movement. Well, she was part of the movement to change the Confederate symbolism in the Mississippi state flag, right? She had a big protest on stage at SOBs. You've been to SOBs in New York City, holding a noose, having the Mississippi state flag, throwing it at the crowd, ripping it up, was on Billboard, made all this noise, and then went on to this political campaign that helped make the Confederate symbol, which used to hang on the Mississippi state flag to this day. And as of last November, that got voted out. Now, she didn't do it single-handedly. She just became part of that movement. My guy's Rebel Diaz. If you're from Chicago, you know Rebel Diaz. If you're from New York City, you know Rebel Diaz. They set up a Rebel Diaz Arts Collective, was a community center for young people in the Bronx, where they taught young people to make music, make beats, and do all that stuff because they're rappers. They're super dope. They're sons of Chilean revolutionaries, Chicago-based, just real into like a real political activism world. They set up this community center in the Bronx. Young people learn how to make music, but they also learn about civic engagement, how to vote, local elections, why voting for the mayor is more important than voting for the president. All these things. And believe me, listen, I can go on. There's people doing this in communities everywhere. So I know it's harder to understand. We used to get it on a big level, and there was a big figure like a Tupac. just like, in activism roles, you watch Judas and the Black Messiah, you have these big figures.
Yeah.
And in MLK, we're used to big figures.
Mm-hmm.
But that was when media was much more, channeled. You turned on the nightly news to get the nightly news. There was only so many people with records out at the same time. Now everyone can be out at the same time because of streaming. It's too much. We can find the people who are making the change using their artistry. Again, I have a hip hop podcast, a news podcast, social justice podcast called Newsbeat, which merges political social justice issues. We've had Dr. Cornel West on our show. We've had Rosa Clemente on our show. We've had big dogs talking about the issues, and we mixed it with hip hop. So we found a way to make that thing happen.
Right.
I'd much rather you listen to us, obviously, than wait for the next big political rapper to be out there. I'd much rather you follow and support Genesis B's movement, or everybody else is doing these small things. And that's what I want people to know. I don't want us to lament the fact that we used to have this and now it doesn't exist. It does exist. It's in a different way. And I want people I promise people that the things you're looking for from rappers, there are rappers that are doing those things. I promise you.
Here's the point I want to make. I agree. I mean, everybody has their different, like we can get people in different ways, like different platforms. Your method of presenting information might not resonate with everybody, like 6 out of 10 people, but we still need to catch those 4. But here's the thing. We did go through a point where we were like, we don't need a leader in the community anymore. We don't need, we can lead ourselves or whatever. But here's the problem. We can go back to the election that just took place. The Ice Cubes coming up. Oh, I went to go meet with Trump. Lil Wayne did the same thing. So it's like, if you don't have that one positive person, that loud person there, and you just leave it to the ignorant people who really don't understand politics, and I know this is a matter of opinion. I'm really mad at Ice Cube. Ice Cube lost his luster after he did that. Some people, but there were people who agreed with him, well, we do need somebody at the table. We don't need somebody at Trump's table. We already got Kim Kardashian doing that, and she got what she got, and that's all they were going to give us. But who else came out and made ignorant comments? It was, Puffy. Puffy came out, we're going to hold the vote. It was days before the election. We're going to hold our vote until Biden can tell us what he's going to do. Really, sir? So you want to hold the vote, and so Trump can get another 4? Shut up! If you don't shut up,
right? Because they're not doing this. That's why if I'm gonna look for my active, someone mentioned Boots, some Immortal Technique. There's people I can go to, that give me that revolutionary spirit. But for every Ice Cube and Lil Wayne, and I agree with you, they did not help anyone's cause. Mm-hmm. But at the same time they were doing that, you had folks in Georgia, Killer Mike on the road that helped Georgia turn blue. So
but that goes to my point, though. It's like that, the Stacey Abrams and her movement was so inspiring, But here's the thing. She was in Georgia and she got those voters. Don't get me wrong, all the respect to her, but she did not connect with every single person. We needed the help of the hip hop community. Hip hop by itself is powerful. If we have one person, I'm not saying that to be a leader, but at least come out and show that you're intelligent, you know what you're talking about. No, it was these cloud chasers and making it seem like they spoke for the whole Black community, and they didn't. It's like, when the last time we seen you?
And nobody could either, because the community is not monolithic. But
exactly.
But to the point is, we need. I think but that's why I think that a smaller grassroots, perhaps a network. When this is a whole different thing too, because the work I do is to facilitate these things. The Center for Hip Hop Advocacy, the nonprofit. I'm just saying, I think there's, first of all, yes, hip hop is doing a terrible job collectively at helping to make change. It works in pockets. It works with some of the examples I've given you of names that everyone listening might not know. Genesis B. You might not know Rebel Diaz, but if you did, if you knew what I knew, you'd be like, oh God, yes, exactly like that, but more and together and all that. And hip hop is very bad about that, and that's because hip hop is still because hip hop, the business, is still very separate from hip hop, the culture. And that's a divide that hasn't been figured out yet. Not many people are trying to do that. It's a much bigger thing. It's part of the work that I do, and it's insane. But the idea that we're really good at community, right? Everyone in this room, is hip hop community. You might be a DJ, you might be an artist of some kind, or you might not be, but you got that hip hop ethos. You got that, you may look like me, it may look like you. We may come from where you come from, where I come from, whatever to make. We actually all can come together in hip hop. We're really good at community.
Right.
What we haven't figured out yet is constituency. And that's what sort of happened in Georgia, right? Because it's not just hip hop. Stacey Abrams is hip hop. You know what I mean? Mayor of my city, Raz Baraka, actually did hip hop for a while. He's a poet and all that stuff. He's the son of Amiri Baraka. He's hip hop. He's running the biggest city in New Jersey, a very big, and he's hip hop. So it's not just the rappers and the entertainers, but that mentality. Because again, it's a school council that aren't rappers, but they're hip hop and they're using hip hop. So I look at it as the leadership. I don't want any of them to be talking. If you ain't got the receipts to show me that you've actually put in the work, Ice Cube, you might have done some things. I'm not saying you haven't. I criticize Jay-Z. Jay-Z's done some great things, but he's done some not great things. We can't just look at everything coming from the hip hop world and saying this is great for hip hop. No, it's not. It's very often just great for the person.
Right.
I mean, then he opened a charter school and everyone was like, yeah, that's hip hop. It's good for hip hop. I'm like, some people don't like charter schools. You understand that charter schools are problematic. So maybe it's not good. We just can't applaud everything. So I agree with you on that term. But what we should be applauding more of, and it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of effort. Sometimes that's what people don't like. They don't have to go seeking it out, which is part of my job as the guy that tells you about these things so that you don't have to bring them to you. We need more of me, more of you, giving platform to it. Thank you and salute. But I'm telling you that the solution, I'm just telling you point blank, hip hop can solve all this stuff. Matter of fact, hip hop can solve all this shit.
Right.
So, and I believe that it's really in those grassroots movements. It's in the intersections of hip hop in other ways. Gemini, we have public enemies. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. We don't have a public enemy.
Right.
But we're not gonna. The music business is not built like that anymore. The corporations own all the radio stations. They're in cahoots. Again, if they're not playing Kendrick Lamar, who had an anthem for social justice, a literal anthem, right? They weren't playing that on the radio. They weren't giving it the kind of notoriety that Public Enemy got. And he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. You can't get more accoladed than Kendrick Lamar and of the people, by the people, for the people. And if they're not giving him that you're never going to get a Public Enemy again. It's not, if it wasn't Kendrick's time to shine when he had an anthem for social justice in the middle of, what was it, Ferguson at that point? It was ridiculous. They were chanting his song in the streets. He had again, I'm
trying to remember the song though. That's the thing I'm sitting here like,
we're gonna be all right. All right. We gonna
you know what I keep thinking of, This Is America, but that's not by him. That's by
that's Gambino.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is either one of those were important, like very milestone-y things. Kendrick's work, Childish Gambino song and video, really the video, which it did it. So I don't want to dismiss all that because they're not Public Enemy or they're not, Questlove said this. I'm going off on my deep tangents and I'll end it soon. Questlove, in the middle of Ferguson, all the protests after Michael Brown was shot and killed by police in Ferguson, went on Instagram and said basically what some folks say now. We need more, we need protest music. And we need to make this kind of music like they used to, especially in hip hop. He was saying not just hip hop, but yes, hip hop too.
Right.
He made this statement on Instagram. And again, I could do that whole thing where I say, yes, but there's Immortal Technique. And there was Tef Poe was an artist in St. Louis that had for years been doing music that was around social justice oriented themes in St. Louis. So when Ferguson popped off, he was right there. In fact, he was interviewed on CNN. Tef Poe went on to become a fellow at Harvard in the Nasir Jones Hip Hop Fellowship, right? So there's Nas has a fellowship at Harvard. Tef Poe, from on the ground, grassroots activist, artivist, to being involved directly in a social movement, in a social justice movement in Ferguson, then went on to go to Harvard to take some of that on a much higher level. And Questlove didn't mention him, just said we need more people to be. Questlove, with the platform you have, sir, you could have said, like Tef Poe is doing, or like da 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 is doing. And I checked, there were at least 12 songs that were released from between the game was one of them. From the time that Michael Brown was shot to the time that Questlove made his statement. Some of them were names we know. J. Cole, Game, Public Enemy. Released songs relating to Michael Brown's Ferguson issue.
Right.
When Michael Brown got shot and then Tom Questlove made that statement. 12 songs were actually put out. We don't have the infrastructure that there's going to be that superstar, because if it wasn't Kendrick, it's not going to be anybody. So I'm telling you,
the Game was one of them. He came out with a protest song.
It was like a don't hands up, don't shoot, and it was like a bunch of artists. I think Diddy was on it, Game was on. I'm pretty sure. I have to go check my research. But my point is, we can't. I think we get stuck in thinking that these artists don't exist. They exist. No Name in Chicago has an abolitionist bookstore. Like, no, people are doing this work. We got to find them and support them, and we got to, figure out ways to do what we can to raise this collective consciousness, and not just wait for sort of like a big artist to be able to spread to the masses. Because if Jay-Z's not doing it, because he's the one that has the money and the name and the power he's not. And if Kendrick can't, it's not going to happen. We have to support these smaller groups and these smaller artists and these small doing big things on a local level. So y'all want to know more? Find me, hit me up and tell me your city, and I'll do the research for you. And I'll be like, okay, go to this person. Here's someone who's doing this. Here's a person that's politically active. Here's a person that's helping the homeless. Whatever you want to do, I'll find them for you. Just hit me up.
So everybody, so we are at 2 hours, so we come to the end of the show. But you guys see why I love to have Manny on the show? Like, that's why I'm like, anytime I want to go deep into hip hop and have these discussions, I'm gonna run to him and have him on. Like, get used to his face. I want to promote his show. Fran, are you able to post his link if you can, if you're at the computer? Posting, so Manny, he streams on Twitch every Wednesday. What time? Like, promote your show.
8 o'clock. The Twitch stream will be 8 o'clock. It's called This Week in Social Justice, where we actually tackle some of these ideas. It's got a hip hop feel to it because it's an offshoot of the podcast that I do. And then I'll be bringing another show to Twitch, which I've dabbled with. You could probably see it in my highlights, called Words I Manifest, which is just me interviewing some interesting people. But I do have a podcast that isn't on Twitch. It's not a video thing. It's called Hip Hop Can Save America. And you could find that wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search Hip Hop Can Save America on Spotify or whatever you use.
Really quickly, so Manny is on the road to becoming an affiliate. Though he has the content, he has a visually perfect stream. What he's missing is the follow. So for those of you who don't know, when you're trying to get affiliate, you have to have a minimum of 50 followers, and he's brand new. So I'm asking, like, it seems to be 12 people in this room right now. Most of my views come from after the show, which is surprising to me. As soon as people listen to it when they can, and then the numbers go up. But during the live broadcast, if we could get you 12 people to follow him, to help him to get to affiliate, and then once he gets to the 50, then I can help with, because I think it's the average of 3, which is fine, because we could try to sync our streams where I can raid into your room. So that's not a problem. The thing is, you'll need to do the, 5 days of streaming, 7 days of streaming.
Yeah.
Within 30 days. That's easy enough. But right now we need the follow. So if you guys could please, I'm going to just, let me copy and paste just the link by itself. If you could please, even the lurkers, you don't have to say anything in the room.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I won't bring you bad stuff. I won't waste your time.
I mean, but they can just follow. They don't like.
Yeah, you don't have to like.
Let me talk to the house guests. I know how to talk to my house guests.
Right, I'm sorry.
Can y'all click the link? Don't have me cursing. He needs follows. Shoot, I ain't playing with y'all. Just follow. It don't hurt you. It don't cost no money. Don't make me beat you. No. Wow. Thank you, Lanny. Thank you, Lon. Look at them. They following. See, they respond to me trying to pull my belt out. Once I pull the belt out, they just fall in line.
You don't want that snap. You don't want that snaps now. That's cool.
Thank you,
and Kitty, you definitely want me to And I do this every Sunday off of Twitch. It's purely audio because it's with my friends at Bonfire Radio. I DJ an R&B brunch every Sunday for a couple hours. But I know you've been asking me to bring some of that over to Twitch, so I will be doing that soon.
I really want you to come under my stream now that I figured out that the DJs can come. Like, I want to have some music on my streams. So like there's a way where I can send you the link and you could just set up, and then I want you to do, I don't know. I really want some alternative stuff. I'm trying to see if Lon gonna do it. I want the DJs to just come do a guest spot, middle test out, whatever, the stuff that you don't play on your stream. I mean, Patrick, he's so busy now. He's popular now. I know Patrick is not gonna do it. But yeah, I want the DJs to come.
There's a lot of great DJs out here, y'all. I'm telling you. Like sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna let y'all do your thing. I do my thing with all this stuff, but you know, I might jump in, but I let the people do their thing because I love it. And a lot of people are dope. Patrick, I've been following. Yeah, a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, Patrick Epic was here earlier. Lon is dope. Lon, I want a beat though. Oh my goodness! Like now we're on the ratchet talk now for the next 15 minutes. I really want to beat Lon. Like he's so stubborn. Lon is so talented as a DJ, and he plays like he can play anything. But he stays with the ratchet on Saturdays. I love him though. He's listening like, is she talking about me? Yes, I'm talking crap about you. I can't curse, but I really want to. So Lon, he has his things where I'm getting Slack messages. Lon has his ratchet Lon stream on Saturdays. He's capable of so much more. He went off on the alternative rap. He fell on that rabbit hole, not rap, alternative pop. Help me out, Lon, here. Like he was playing rock, like all this stuff, and I've never heard that from him. And then I haven't heard it since. So I'm now disappointed, and I feel like, Lon, stop playing with me. Stop playing. What's up, the Dirty Deacon? Welcome. Lon says he has this indie alternative stuff coming. Okay, you guys, if you have any last questions, I'm gonna just give some technical stuff real quick. So tomorrow, I don't know if you guys know, but I sent you guys, for those of you who are subbed, I sent out my email, my Twitch email. Please don't ignore my emails. I promise I'll try to only send you guys one email a week. Like I hate when people flood my inbox. So I sent out the schedule. I'm doing 5 days of streaming up until I leave the country on Thursday. So I'll stream Thursday morning too. So tomorrow we have DJ Nick Rockwell on. It was so hard to get him on this show. It is going to be a ratchet show. I'm going to just give you the heads up. I love Nick. He's coming on. He doesn't like to interview, but he's coming on the stream. So that'll be tomorrow. And then immediately after, so that'll be the only stream where I come on at 10 a.m. I had to move it to 10 a.m. because I have a stream with Tanya California, who's currently in the room. I'm going onto her stream. And I'm not quite sure the format. I know she whispered me and I'm going to look, but I think it's an interview situation. I don't think it's a co-host, but whatever. I'm happy to do whatever she needs. So I'll be there from 12 to 2, I think. I don't know what the time frame is. I know it starts at 12. Yes, Pacific Standard Time. Stop shading me. I know that was shade.
Yeah, waiting. I was like, I'm waiting.
Y'all know how we deal in Pacific Standard Time.
You said 1 o'clock.
My fault. New Yorkers is in a hurry. Okay, so Tanya is because she had the exclusive on my on a particular topic about me, and so I haven't talked about it with everybody else. I kind of told y'all, but she was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna interview about that," and so Tanya's gonna get that. So please, Tanya, can you drop the link to your stream or Miss Fran get Tanya's link here? Please follow her. Tanya is so dope, Manny. I don't know if you follow her. Please follow her.
Everybody after this.
Yeah, but once we close it out, you're gonna lose it. You click while I'm talking. Pull up the stream or pull up on your phone. We old people over here. Old people trying to figure this out. Listen. Who else has a show? I think Trina has a show too. Listen, all you streamers, please drop links. We are all about supporting. I know that I follow most of you, but if you are lurking and you have a stream, just come to the chat real quick, drop your link, and then go back to lurking. It's all good. Like, let's get these numbers in.
And anyway, they're following me because you asked them to, so now I'll know I can follow them that way. So.
Right. Tanya is dope. Like she's a very so she does do the I don't want to call it spicy because to me spicy means like we talking about raunchy sex or something. Even though I would like somebody to do a film review on a new documentary on strippers in New Jersey. It is currently on Hulu and I watched it and I rewound it several times and then I played it back. So if any of you are bored, there's a new documentary. I know this has nothing to do with DMX, but hey, when you ask me how my weekend went, I watched a document. You know, I love documentaries. Patrick knows that about me. I love documentaries. Oh, Amani, see, first of all, we already had you. If you would have came and showed up on time to my stream, I'm talking to you. Let me look at the camera. Amani, if you would have got here on time, you would have saw me big up in your stream. That's happening today. But you missed out because you showed up on CPT time. That time, CP time. Listen, Amani, let me repeat sorry for those of us who showed up on time. Amani is having a stream later on. He's going to be talking about the new OBS Ninja. I think he said Ninja. Something. So for those of us who are learning OBS, he's going to do, I mean, the show is much more than OBS, but his show is on at 8. Hold on. Is that Eastern Standard Time?
I've seen Amani's shows before, by the way. Very helpful. And
yeah, I was the first show. Remember when I was on his show?
I came on for you, but I've watched it since. So yeah, I don't know you broke the virginity. That's dope.
You're welcome, Amani. I brought new viewers to your channel. See, that's more the reason you can love me. Listen, so Amani is tonight.
This OBS Ninja, I might have to, because I do some things.
Listen, Manny, real quick. Amani is always looking for people on his show, and since is your wife shy? Because he has this thing called the Newlyweds Game, which is real fun. It's just like back in the day.
Oh, I know that show, yeah.
Yeah, can we get your wife? Do you think she'll be down to do it?
Yeah, she'd be. Yeah.
Amani, I done already lined up some guests to feature. Yeah, his shows are really, really good. Like the Twitch University is more technical stuff about the business.
I've seen the brackets. I see what goes on over there.
Yeah, he got the brackets thing going. I always miss that because I'm always busy during that particular show. But then I come back for the Newlyweds and then the dating game. But the Newlyweds is new, so yeah, I'm gonna have to connect y'all too because I think that would be cute. Have it. I love when he has the DJs on. Last week he had Jaybird. Who was it? No, White Gold. I'm sorry. He had White Gold and his wife on. That was interesting. Hey Stevie. Hey Boo. So yeah, that's what's going on. So anyway, so yeah, tomorrow's Nick Rockwell. We got you, Manny. Oh, okay. Amani said he got you. Okay. So yeah, tomorrow's Nick Rockwell. And then after that is Tanya, California. And then the next 2 days, so Wednesday and Thursday are going to be just chatting with Kitty. I'm going to test out the OBS, the Streamlab OBS setup that Yasin yesterday taught me how to show. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they'll be done with construction. Trying to think what else. Yeah, and then you guys won't see me again until the following week. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I'm probably gonna be a little more grouchy, so we'll see. Just a couple quick shout outs. I'm sorry, Manny, to hold you and my mods. Feel free, like friend. Thank you so much. I try to only keep my mods 2 hours because they got lives too. So friend, if you have to go, I totally understand. But thank you so much for staying. Hi, what's up? I am a princess. You know what? Apologies to you. I thought your name was IMAP. Like, am I the only one who saw and knows what IMAP is? It's like code, like whatever technical. I thought that was her.
Email.
Huh?
For email.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was, but her name is actually I Am a Princess NYC. I apologize to you. I apologize. She never corrected me. Who corrected me? I think it was Neil. Neil corrected. He was the one who said it properly. I was like, okay, I got it now. Lainey has Lainey has a stream too. Lainey Star, make sure you post your put down the edibles. I'm actually fasting. It's Ramadan. Today's the first day of Ramadan, so there will be no weed products, no liquor products, no meat. Those of you who are late. No cursing. Okay, I just want y'all to remember that. I'm not even joking about it. Like, I'm dead serious. Yeah, so no weed. But I had 15 milligrams yesterday, though, to say, just to go out with a bang.
As well. Load up.
You know, one more for the road. Well, the road was 15 milligrams. But yeah, for the next 30 days. So yeah, there will be no cannabis. Anything that causes me to twerk either. I can't get caught up with y'all. Okay, Lainey. Yes, Lainey has a show. Let's support her. Follow her channel. Trina has a show. The Dirty Deacon. I feel like this is a new name because you're acting very familiar. I don't know who you are, but what's up to you? Lon has a show. I don't see no links being posted. Why don't y'all post your own links? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody who came. Thank you for getting my raid train going. Wait, Tanya has something to say. Oh, I didn't realize that you weren't swearing for that reason. Oh, yeah. I talked about it at the beginning, Tanya. Yeah, it's Ramadan. And I hope I'm staying. Yeah. Shout out to all my Muslim friends. I'm doing it in support. Any last words, Manny, while my house cat sings? And then I'm also over here trying to figure out who we're going to raid into.
No worries. I appreciate everyone who stuck around. I appreciate the follows. I'll do my best to bring y'all some interesting, entertaining stuff and follow in your delicious footprints.
When do you want me to come bless your show? Let me know because I'm ready.
Oh yeah, no, I got you. It'll be very soon. I guess once you get back, but yeah, soon after you get back, hit me as soon as you get back, and as soon as you've, your traveling dust has settled.
Y'all, this time next week, I'm not gonna be thinking about y'all. I'm just be out. Like, I already got my spa treatments already ready. I'm done. Okay, let's get ready.
That's what I'm looking forward to now. Like we starting to be able to touch people again. I need to get unwound.
This ain't even affect because and this is no shade against Jamaica. I hate going to Jamaica at this point. I've been so many times, and I was talking about it. Like I always have a bad time every time I go. It has nothing to do with the people. Well, the last time it did have to do with the people, the particular people I was around. I'm not blaming the whole island, but it's just like my energy just does not work well with Jamaica for whatever reason. But anyways, I'm gonna go. It's a wedding. My homegirl's getting married.
I'm not ready to hug everybody, Dirty D. I'm not ready to hug anybody, really. But I'm just saying.
Right. Oh, the dirty person is your person.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was like, this person is coming.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I was saying, look, I'll let the medical professionals at some point, once I'm fully shotted up, and we might be able to get a massage treatment or something spa-ish at that point. But I'm not hugging randos anytime soon. I'm still not there.
I mean, in all honesty, were we the hugging kind?
I was a hugger. I was, yeah. In my little, community of folk, not random ass people, but my peoples, we hug.
I hug you if I want something. Like
you gonna hug me. I'm just telling you now.
All right, I'll give you a hug. But listen, if it's a man, like if it's Jason Momoa, I'm like, hug me, daddy, hug me. And it's gonna be that long where he gonna have to be like, okay, you can let me go now. And I'm like, really? Because like I like to give 5-minute hugs, like, and then it's like a hard hug, so you know it's gonna go down. Like here. That's it. Damn, just ran in the toilet. All right, we gotta go. Wait, the stock market is about to close. I need to check my stocks.
Oh boy.
My cannabis stocks is down. I got stuff to do. I think I did good with no cursing today, though.
You did good. I had like 4 of these. That's about it.
For those of you who watch my show for the rest of the week, wait, can somebody check to see if I made 400? Because that was my goal. Am I at 400 yet? I can't tell because I got all these damn screens up. That wasn't a curse word. Patrick gonna have the pandemic after party. He's been planning this after pandemic party for a couple months now. I'm at 401. Oh my goodness, thank you. I'm at my goal, y'all. I'm like DJ Epic now. Like I'm up there. Y'all can't talk to me. Anyways, I gotta go. Okay, let's raid into.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all again for tuning in. Appreciate you, Kitty.
We're going to. Don't go anywhere, Manny. Hold on. Okay, hold on. We're going to the UK with DJ Sean Oliver. Hold on. Can you guys just represent? Drop the innocent. Don't use the magic edible emote because it's Ramadan. We're not doing that. We're not on that. So post the kitty, the house cats, and the innocent kitty. That's it. None of the drug ones. Okay, because I'm trying to live my life right for the next 30 days and adult properly. Okay, hold on. See y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. too. Just when I put that out there. Wait. raid? Is it / raid or damn? I keep forgetting. Is it raid / and then the thing? Well, we're gonna find out. Hold on. Listen, this is what happens when you don't stream for a whole week. You forget how to raid properly. Let me see here, Oliver. Okay, is that right? I got 2 @ Damn. DJ, is it / and then raid?
Amani said /.
It's not a back, it's a forward. Is that a back or a forward? Okay, well, we're gonna try it. Hold on. Hold on. Now that oh, thank you, Miss Fran. Listen, you can raise too. I gotta get my moderators to do this. Hold on. You know I'm lackadaisical on occasion. Oh, it worked. It worked. Okay, you guys represent. Don't use the edible one though. We trying to be right. Thank you, DJ Gemini. Again, tomorrow I'm gonna be back at 10 a.m. with DJ Rockwell. Okay, here we go. Wait. There we go. Okay, hold on. Let me end.